Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. We are now coming to the English presentation round of MAPRES FHUI 2024. Hey. Today, we will hear from the MAPRES finalists their English presentation that they have been tirelessly put for the duration of 2 weeks. Fine. So the rules is that you will be having your presentation for 15 minutes, and the jury will ask question and comment on your presentation for about 30 minutes. Now the jury present today, I would like to introduce Ibu Natalina Naibaho, um, as well as Bang Angga Priyanca and Mbak Dinda. And who are you? And Muhammad Ali Ramadan. Okay, for the first presentation, we will call which one, Bang Angga? Rofi Chandra. Rofi, the time is yours.
What information could we get from this piece of paper? Maybe my friends would say, oh, there are some writings here, but they're not really sure what does it say. Or maybe you judges would say, this definitely using Times New Romans, and maybe the fonts around 12 or 11. Indeed, I do understand that reading this piece of paper are quite really hard. And this is exactly how a person with a disability is feeling when they're trying to access crucial electoral information through digital platform. It's hard. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rofi Chandarusiana, and today I would like to share a story of one of the teachers in special needs schools in West Java who admits that her deaf students are very excited to use their first voting rights back in 2024 general elections. Today, I would also share a story of a blind college student who represents the 1.1 million disabled voters in Indonesia who find it challenging to access all the digital information about electoral issues. And here, today, I'm excited standing in front of you to tell those stories through my solutions entitled ATAS, Aksesibilitas Tanpa Batas, a one-stop approach to accessibility for persons with disability in general elections. Judges, when we talk about disabilities and the issue of accessibility revolving around it, we are talking about 16% of the global population, or roughly around 1.3 billion persons with disability who are classified as person who has disability to some extent. In the context of Indonesia, we are talking about 4 to 10% of our population has some type and level of disability as well. In Digital Politics 2024, the context of disability and the accessibility is also very, very much relevant. Also, 1.1 million disabled voters are classified as people with disabilities. This number is tripled from the previous elections. And these are not just numbers, judges. Each figures in thousands and millions of numbers represents thousands and millions of stories. Honorable judges, the number are increasing, but not with the ease of involvement in all of the process of election for a person with disability. Especially how registered disabled voters are marginalized in the context of political education and political campaign. There are two main issues to look at in this matter. First, in the Article 275 in General Election Law covers 8 different types of campaign methods. But there is only one single regulation in KPU Regulation number 15, 2023 that requires the accessibility of campaign methods in the form of political candidate debate. And the question is, what about the accessibility of the other 7 types of campaign methods? The question remains unanswered. Secondly, practically speaking, 69% of digital content right now are not fully accessible for all types of disability. This is contradictory for the fact that more than 60% of sources of information used by young Indonesians aged 15 to 24 are digital-based information. Considering these challenges faced by registered disabled voters are very alarming, the question that pops up would be, what has been done so far? Judges, KPU, an electoral management body in Indonesia, indeed has done several actions to prevent and fix these problems. Let's say the socialization held by KPU in Purwakarta at a special needs school back in November 2023. However, according to one of the teachers there, the focus of the socialization is about how to vote on the day of elections. We are talking about how person with disability come into TPS and choose their voting rights in the ballots. This is giving an impression that what has been done by KPU still revolves around answering the question of how to vote, rather than answering the question of why and who to vote. Well, actually, there are some existing solutions that focus on answering who and why to vote as well. However, the existing platforms currently fail to meet WCAG 2.0 standard, which is an international accessibility standard. With that being said, the current existing solutions are not quite fully accessible and answering all those challenges that faced by people with disabilities. This situation differs from other countries where several countries has done several actions to prevent these problems. First, there's GNY PWD Accessible Connect, a platform that allowed disabled individuals to access information and connect with those who are also facing the same problems. Right now, this platform has reached more than 500 young persons with disability from 80 different countries. Secondly, there's Ikaw Mismo, a learning platform that helps young Filipinos to understand politics through identity education that use the approach of gamification. This interactive learning has been used by more than 36,000 people in Philippines. And thirdly, there's MSF and W Consulting, an accessibility consulting company offering a range of services from auditing to training in the scope of digital accessibility. Drawing on these best practices, there's pressing need to implement such a solution here in Indonesia. So what is our intention target? So our target is to create a more accessible digital information platform for registered disabled voters with specific parameters in mind, such as 80% to 100% accessibility scores and more than 50% vote turnout by 2029. These targets align with the SDG target number 10 about redress inequalities and number 16 about strong institutions. To achieve these goals, let me introduce you to ATAS, Aksesibilitas Tanpa Batas, an integrative solution that combines the concept of political identity, political knowledge, and intervention of political campaign through 3 key features: Pilih, Simasi, and Ajak Kami. First, I will bring you to Pilih, an interactive learning for political identity education aimed at disabled individuals aged 15 to 17. This segmentation of age is important because of 2 things. First, this range of age is still effective in using gamification method in education. And second, this range of age will be the first time voter in the next general election. Second is SIMASI. This feature is a centralization of information hub that both accessible for disabled individuals and the general public. This feature would benefit person who has sensoric and intellectual disability. For example, there is one blind person who is about to access the information through SIMASI about the electoral process that they want to vote in. He or she could then press the accessibility button in here, choose their type of disability, and voila, the site will be adjusted to their needs. And the third one is Aja Kami. Aja Kami is a consultation service for political parties, political candidates, as well as KPU themselves to ensure that their campaign methods are accessible fully by person with disabilities. Aja Kami would then become the middleman connecting the clients to the digital accessibility community with a profit-sharing business scheme. Judges, ATAS will be implemented over the next 5 years with 4 different phases: initiation, constructions, actions, and acceleration. In implementing ATAS as well, there are several stakeholders that need it, namely KPU, partnered special needs school, partnered existing platforms, software developer, digital accessibility community, election participants, and of course, person with disability itself. Lastly, judges, the atas in Bahasa means both on the higher position and becoming. So I hope atas would be becoming the reason of the higher position of person with disability compared to their situation right now. Because I believe, and you should too, the way we could read the information from this piece of paper is to always include every single one of us. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Rafi, for the presentation. Now I would like to invite the members of the jury to put some question and give comments on the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Rofi. So, because this is MAPRES, but you are from the Faculty of Law, I want to ask a bit about your basic understanding of the law. And then I'll treat your proposal as like, the programs, TV program Shark Tank, where you are presented by lots of creative ideas and you need to explain how realistic is it to be executed in the real world. So first, you are talking about the accessibilities in elections. Um, in this sense, what is the basis, the legal basis, the norms that can be used to kind of allocate this kind of programs into our nations wide? So can you explain that to me?
Thank you, Bang Angga, for the question. To answer the question, we actually have to run through all of the possible and related law in Indonesia. But in this matter, there are at least 2 types of laws that really relevant in this context. First is the law of penyandang disabilitas. There are several rights of penyandang disabilitas in this context as the person with disabilities, and one of them are the involvement of politics. Their political rights has to be accommodated by the country. And how so? One of them is to include them in every single steps of election processes. And this being said, that the fact that they are being marginalized in the sense of campaigns and also political education, the countries and the nation has not fully accommodate the needs of the rights of the person with disability. And the second would be the accessibility in Article 267 of General Election Law, which states that all of the campaign methods and also the process of the election has to be able to be received and perceived by all of kind of people. And with that being said, that person with disability also has to be considered in all of the process of the election. And this is what is not happening in the status quo, and that ATAS would help us to fix the problem in the status quo.
Okay. I believe you're still not answering my question. My question is what kind of legal norms that actually can be the basis in terms of running this kind of program. I mean, this is for election. Election means that it's going to be related to uh, the state administrations, especially rights of political rights. If you remember ICCPR, but in this context, I would like to ask you what is the legal basis or the basic or legal norms in Indonesia to accommodate this kind of programs in Indonesia?
Okay. Thank you, Judge, for the interesting question. I actually haven't really considered the legal basis as in how to implement the program, because I suppose that
No, the legal basis to conduct this kind of programs or ideas, I believe you've learned it in HTM. I see that your ideas is based on the constitutional law thing.
oh,
So what kind of norms that become basis? I mean, if you're a legal student creating this kind of ideas and you cannot answer the legal basis or norms, then that's going to be questionable.
I'm so sorry to not fully understand the question,
Yeah.
but I will try to maybe run through again. So the basis from these programs and initiation comes from the realization that the implementation of Constitution, Article 28, uh, number F, is very, very much to be implemented. So in the Article 28 F is talking about how all of people, all of the kind of Indonesian population has to be accommodated in their accessibility of information. And in this matter, in the information about election, people with disability are not quite fully get their rights to be included in the like sharing of the information about the electoral processes. I think that's how I could accommodate the engine.
Okay, that's quite answering. You already stated the related articles. In this sense, I'm going to be a bit technical, and this is I'm not going to take long. First, you say person with disabilities. It's a broad concept, and how you tackle this problems is using a website. So I believe it's too general. Will you mind elaborate on what kind of disabilities? Because let's just say people with disabilities that doesn't have any foot or legs, is it going to be helpful for them to have website as the what is it called solution for their problems in this sense?
Thank you, Judge, for the question. So basically, we are kind of segmenting the target of the programs, especially in our really feature, and also, I'm sorry, and also Simasi feature. Both in Pili and Simasi would be segmented to those who have three types of disability. First is being blindness, deaf, and as well as the intellectual disability. Why we are segmenting this type of sensoric as well as intellectual disability? Because those three types of disability are those kind of disability who are very, very marginalized in the context of information sharing. Because we are talking about they cannot access fully the accessible content in digital about politics, as well as they cannot see balloons in the street. Those kind of types that the reason why we are segmenting the kind of disability into three types of disability. Maybe that's that.
Okay. In this sense, I believe it's not fair if you're using the terms person with disability because it's very broad. So I believe it's better for you to use a more specific terminologies because people would think that okay, it's all disabilities can be saluted by in a sense website. That's going to be problematic at first. Second, when we talk about the visually impaired, okay, visually impaired, there are lots of problems in that. First, when we talk about website, it's going to be very limited to visual and auditory. In this sense, some of them is prefer reading, right? Or maybe they both visually and audially impaired. In this sense, they need braille. How do you going to solve that problems? Because right now, I believe computer does not have the abilities to transfer uh, texture. Okay, in this sense, is that going to be one of the target first, or it's going to be tackled by someone else, or maybe in other programs? And
Okay.
maybe the second one, this is a bit critical question. You say that a person, nationals that have intellectually impaired, you said before, the
Can
third
you repeat
one,
the question?
the one that have intellectually impaired.
Yes.
Okay. I will. This is a curiosity, and how I would really like to hear your critical answers. In this sense, uh, do the person with that kind of, I mean, when we talk about legal science or jurisprudence, people that does not have the capabilities to create legal action does not be able to create a legal action. They are not capable. In this sense, election is one of the legal action. So in this sense, is people with with the standard you already given, the intellectually impaired, can do elections in this sense. So I would really like to hear about that from you.
Okay. Thank you, Judge, for the question. So I would like to address the first question first. Is it about the visually impaired disability? There are at least two things that we are going to do. First, that we are going to partner with the developer, software developer, as well as the digital community of accessibility that has actually capabilities in developing and also like creating the contents that is fully accessible by lot of variety of disabilities in the sense of those three types of disability that I'm focusing at in this um, writings, as well as how the contents that they are going to be on our websites are those who are already accessed in other platforms. We are talking about bijak memilih or KPU pemilu. Those type of this platforms already exist, but not yet fully accessible for a wide variety of um, person with disability. So what we are going to do are converting those existing platforms to be implemented in the accessible manner. So with that being said, it's not kind of relevant. We're talking about how to make such a engaging content, because what we are going to do is basically gathering the existing information that actually could uh, could be perceived by non-disability, yet to be also received by person with disability. I think that's for the first question. For the second one, the intellectually disabled, it's actually discussion in our country back in maybe 2014, and that's why there's an increasing number of people with disability who are registered as a voters in Indonesia. In 2024, it tripled into 1.1 million. This is because the intellectual disabled are considered as those who are voters. This confirms the discussion that they actually have a responsibility. And this is proven by the interview that I conduct with one of the intellectually disabled students. And he concludes that he actually could understand what is happening. He needs to choose, and he has the information whom to choose. But the problem is the digital contents right now is very gimmickal, let's say. So the problem that we are going to face to fix in this context is that they need a very basic identical education, political education, political identity education. So they have the basic to consider whom to vote and why to vote. This is the issue that we are going to address, and that's actually also one of our consideration when we are uh, writing this proposal.
Okay, the last question. I'm going to this because this is ideas that supposed to be making impact to be applied. How do you plan about the budgeting? I mean, the initiator, who is it? Is it NGOs? Is it the state? Or is it being motorized by the students and you apply it to maybe state organization and such? And then You said di sini, you said here, there's a profit sharing, profit sharing method. So it's supposed to be commercial, or is it supposed to be not? And then when is it commercial? Then to whom is the revenue is going to be divided? Because that's going to be a very important question when this ideas is being executed in the real world. So I would like to hear about that from you.
Okay. Thank you, Bang Angga, for the interesting question. This is actually one of the challenges that we are facing as well in developing our task, and we are acknowledging these challenges. And how we are tackling this challenge is by implementing Aja Kami. Aja Kami is, yes, a fund, a paid services that we offer, but the fact that Aja Kami, we as Aja Kami would be a middleman for clients as well as the digital community. And uh, Aja Kami, we would gather 20% of the profit that is being charged for clients. And these 20% of profits that made up roughly 90% of our budgeting source of income. And the other 10% is come from the donors and also the proposal that we are propose and those kind of initiatives that we are going to do as well, because we are realizing that donors and proposal are not quite um, let's say stable, and then we are focusing more to Ajakami, because I think Ajakami would be more relevant in this discourse of accessibility, in a sense that uh, it has to be mandated by the law itself, and we are going to advocate those mandatory of accessibility for campaign methods. And the second will be whom to be divided the profit. This is not going to be commercial because we are basically NGO and we are basically a non-profit organization. All of the profit that get we get are going to be circled back to our operational cost, and it is made up roughly 70% of our cost. So it's going to be fully for our operational costs, maintaining costs, and also for developing the site itself. I think that's that.
Okay, if I read correctly, that means Ajakami means the political parties, right? I mean, I read it in your paper. Ajakami is basically you ask political parties to create a content together, so it's going to be accessible.
Um, that's not necessarily true, because what we are going to do is offering the service. If they know they should include person with disability, they could come to us to assess the contents to be more accessible.
Okay, so it's going to be NGOs initiating it, and then you propose your ideas, and the funding will be burdened to political parties
Oh,
that have the interest in that.
yes, that's true.
Okay, so the last one is maybe if you want to be more critical about this, when you are maybe include political parties in the sense, you need to be able to maintain the neutrality, because when you are what is it called? You are participating. You make the part. You receive funding from political parties. That's going to be a very, in the sense in Indonesia, is bercorak. So it's going to be very. You have to be very careful because this is a, what is it called? Pemilu should be neutral. So that's something that maybe you need to think about it and you need to tackle it in the future. I think that's all from me, Pak Alif. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Bang Angga, for the
Thank you, Bang Angga, for your comments. Uh, I would like to invite other members of the jury, Mbak Natalina, mungkin, maybe.
Thank you, Bang Alif. Rosie, how are you?
I'm good.
Just good.
I'm feeling well.
Feeling so well. All right then. First of all, I would like to congratulate you become one of the finalists of the MAPRES FHUI 2024. The second one is about your relevant topic, really related to current situation in Indonesia. And I have a few questions, mostly related to human rights issue, because disability people community they have access also to the general election and anything related to the participation in the public issue. Um at the beginning of my question, respond to your abstract, your article, your paper, we understand that there are four principles in human rights. First is about respect, protect, fulfill, and promote the rights. That's also applicable and part of the rights of the disability. Related to that, we understand that disability people there are vulnerable in the community, and how your proposal could be answer the vulnerability of the disability people that related to those four principle of human rights that the atas akses tanpa batas will guarantee that they will be respectful, protected, fulfill their rights, and also promote not only get access to choose the one who will be the candidate of the president and so on. Please, Rosie.
Thank you, Ibu Natalina, for the question. A very, very interesting, and this actually a very interesting topics as well. When we are collating human rights and people with disability are very, very much relevant, and of course, but I wouldn't say that people with disability are the most vulnerable one because they're also human, and we as human also have our side of vulnerability, and it's just different what kind of vulnerability that we have. So that's come from that idea. I would say that the idea of atas wouldn't make such a oh we have to make a proposal to make instant oh they're being respected being promoted and being fulfilled. I know that those ideas are not quite easy to be implemented and to happen in just one night and in within five years of framework. And what we are going to do are that acknowledging that if we could access the information about digital campaigns or other related about uh, elections, they should too. And this idea of fulfilling and respecting their political rights, namely the rights to vote. And I think that's that for the answer.
All right. You disagree when I said that disability people is not part of the vulnerable group in Indonesia. So
I
you
would
need to, yeah, you need to read more on that while you are still working on this ajab, this atas. So I think you need to read more on that because the disability people is part of the vulnerable group still, not only in Indonesia but other part of the world. So you need to consider on that. And my following question: is there any the issue of non-discrimination that you will be guaranteed following what Bang Angga has been asking before, that in Indonesia we have a multicultural, multi-status. Do you think that only disability people who live in big city or kind of intelligent people that will be access certain kind of application or method approach to access your rights, or there will be a guarantee that this application is a friendly user to all of disability people in Indonesia, in Nusantara? Please, Rosie.
thank you even for the question. Um, I know for a fact that non-discriminatory is a very crucial issue as well. And what we are going to do is we are going to partner with several parties, namely the existing platforms, as well the political parties, as well as Sekolah Luar Biasa that is going to be partnered with us. With that being said, that we are going to make such a community that we are going. Atas is more than just a platform. Atas is more than just a website, but it is a digital community where there will be the use of social media, and we know that more than 80% of people in Indonesia are using social medias, and this is how discriminatory is not going to happen in our proposal. Uh, from the three of our interview that we are made, three of them are using internet to access digital information. But the problem that they are proposing is that they're not fully understand, or maybe there are some part of information that they disconnected from their mind on and so forth and so on and so forth. And those kind of discriminatory is not going to happen because all the massiveness of usage of internet right now is very wide. Especially for those people with disability as well, they are already using the digital platform, and but there are still gaps in accessing the platform. And the second one would be in atas. There would be a team called research and development. This is going to be uh, researcher, maybe writers, and those kind of people that has capacity to research and those kind of stuff would be answering the concern of neutrality of atas. So they will double check and so on and so forth from the information that is appeared on atas itself. I think that's it. Thank you.
All right then. So it could be challenging for every person, people who connected with Atas and also with Ajak. So you need to give the best solution on that. So everyone could access and could understand with the user-friendly application, so they can access their rights. And my last question will be the security of the application, because how you guarantee that the personal data protection. Sorry, Bang Angga, I influenced by your research, so I asked on this issue how to guarantee the security, the protection of the data, personal data of the disability people who connect with the application, and if there is a dispute on that, how they can access a solution on their problem.
Thank you, Ibu, for the last question. It is very interesting. It is quite alarming issue as well now, especially when the enacted of PDP law, as well as the issue of security in digital context. But what we are going to do are we are going to partner with several people, several partners, namely the information platforms who are, especially they are existing platforms that has produced contents as well as uh, sites that are fully accessible. And second, system developer as well as the accessibility community. Those partnership, we hope, it could prevent all of the negativity that could happen in the future. And second of all, that in atas there are three teams. First, namely team uh, research and development, team partnership, and the platform team. And this platform team would someone who maintain, someone who has the capacity in IT and complexity of the system developing, and they would provide some preventions in order to their competencies. I think those two steps are fully accessing the security data that is being concerned. And second of all, Ibu Izin, I would like to address also about the vulnerability. I'm not saying that they are not vulnerable. I'm saying that everyone is vulnerable. And what I'm going to say that they are marginalized. I think that's the two different things, being marginalized and being vulnerable. I think because everyone is vulnerable, but not everyone is being marginalized. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
So, for your following action on this, I think you need to add uh, the group of advocacy to give them advocacy while they have a problem or dispute on this fulfillment of the rights, and the other is on the advocacy and mitigation. Yeah, two movement or two important groups that need to be addressed while you are promoting and also implementing this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very
Jose.
much, Ibu, for the insights.
Thank you, Ibu Natalina, for a question. We still have 4 minutes for question and comments from the jury. Is Badinda want to give some comment? Thank you.
Check, check. Okay, can you hear me clearly?
I could.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, Rafi.
Good morning, but
How do you feel right now? Nervous?
nervous, very, very much excited, but like so much questions. I'm very excited.
Okay, so perhaps there will be only several questions and feedback for me. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you as well as appreciate you for reaching this point. And first of all, is that could you please explain one sentence about the main legal issue in your proposal?
One sentence, there's no law. There is no law. There's no adequate norms that mandated all of the political participants and political parties to use accessible campaigning methods. That's
Okay, interesting. And based on one sentence that you have been provided in regards to the main legal issue here, my question is that to what extent do you agree that Indonesians are not entirely aware of the right to vote for people with disability?
I could not fully agree with that statement because I believe that KPU has done several actions to include person with disability in this context, but not fully uh, admitting the fact that they are also important in every process of elections, not in the day of election itself, but the uh, elections we're talking about from the registrations of the parties until the count of the votings, and those steps, people with disability has to be included. But the focus right now is just on the day and architectural approach from the government to accommodate the needs of disability. I think that's
Okay, so in order to tackle that issue as well as the situation within Indonesian society, of course, do you think education having an important role in these matters?
of course, very, very much. And that's why we are going to implement ATAS in SMA Luar Biasa, or special needs high schooler. We are going to partner with those schools to be implementing this kind of feature to their addition to their education. I've done some interviews with the SMILB as well, and they said that it is possible to make such an initiative. I think that's how we are currently uh, noting that education is very, very important and advocation. And as well as we are going to make a community. We are going to make a community. We are talking about like medias, social medias, and we are going to build a platforms, maybe in, let's say, Instagrams or Twitter and those kind of platforms that we are going to advocate, because Atas is not just a website. Atas is a movement. Atas is a platforms.
Okay, then my last question will be, um, you know that Indonesia environmentally it is very challenging, especially for people who are in the rural areas, right? And how do you think your proposal will be will covering all of the areas in Indonesia, especially for people who even don't understand about what is internet and what is a platform, what is a website, and in this regard, how is what is the best solution based on your proposal and your ideas?
Thank you, but I do understand and I do acknowledge that this is such a big challenge as well that we are going to face. But the problem is that we just have a short period of time, and then we acknowledge that the use of technology right now in Indonesia is very, very high. The number of screen time roughly around 7 hours per day for one person. And that being said, that exactly from the interview that I also conducted, three people non I'm sorry, person with disability people are using internet, and those interviewed made it not in Jakarta or Jabodetabek, but back in my hometown Purwakarta, which is not very a big city, and this shown that even if even in the small city as well, they've been using internet and or website platforms to gather information about the elections. I think that's
Okay, thank you. I think that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Madina, for your question. That concludes the first round of questioning. For Rofi, give a big applause for Rofi. Oh, yeah, he looks nervous enough.
Thank you very much, Abang Mbak.
Thank you. So now we will come to the second participant. Who are you again? I'm just kidding. It's Ziva Genta Sangara.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Salam Nama Budaya. Greetings, everyone. My name is Ziva Genta Sankara. As one of part of MAPRES FHUI 2024 selections, finalist, and I'm here to present my creative ideas. And I'm going to start my presentation from. And I'm going to start my presentations in 3, 2, 1. Dear honorable judges, today I'm going to talk about community empowerment of live streaming, how's in responding to the phenomenon of online video on the TikTok applications in Indonesia. But before that, let me show you our current situations in Indonesia. Sorry.
Untuk Sani ada siluman harimau putih, untuk Adi Bunda ada buto hijau, untuk Jamal di satu kamar mandi ada pocong.
Okay, from what we can see from this, starting from early 2022, there's one phenomenon that went viral on the internet called Mandi Lumpur, a phenomenon. Maybe some of you have to see that article. So what I would like to highlight here is there are difference in live streaming services and the TikTok applications with other platforms, where there's a give coin feature that provided by TikTok where audience can send it to the content creator and the person doing live streaming or for the live streaming house. But what makes it different with television streaming? Live streaming on social media, especially on the TikTok applications, can be done anywhere by anyone. And it's not a particular program like on the televisions. Let me show you TikTok users in Indonesia, and it is related to the SGDS number 8, which highlighted for proper access to work and economic growth. The digitalizations of social interactions in society that has developed through social media features become a medium for individuals of group to interact and express themselves in 4.0 era. And my topic is related to highlight how this phenomenon can be solved, especially related with the SGDS number 8. Also, on televisions, as I grew up with this program such as Bedah Rumah, Orang Pinggiran, and Tukar Nasib, it's totally different with what we see on TikTok. So this is the data of TikTok users in Indonesia. The use of social media platforms has increased. Unlike Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, TikTok significantly growth and currently on the top chart for the applications on App Store. In 2020, the number of TikTok users is only about 25% of the total social media users in Indonesia. The figure increased 38.7% in 2021 and jumped into 63.1% in 2022. And by early 2023, the amount of TikTok users in Indonesia reached more than 100 million people, and making Indonesia as the second most TikTok users in a global. So let's see the regulations in Indonesia. The common biggers are based on KUHP, the Article 504, Paragraph 1, and the Article 504, Paragraph 2. But what we can see from this, there is no explicitly regulations that highlight about online biggers. So it's only common biggers in Indonesia. And if we refer to the Electronic Information Transaction Law, Article 27 until 29, there's also no specific regulations that highlight about these online biggers. But to responding this phenomenon, there's Surat Edaran Menteri Sosial number 2, 2023, to avoiding begging activities, both conventionally and online on social media, which involve abuse of the children and people with disabilities or even vulnerable groups. These online biggers need to respond. Moving on. So let's identify the biggers in Indonesia. Based on my research, there's two type of biggers. The first one is the conventional and the unconventional biggers. The conventional one is the begging activities that carry out directly door to door. So it's direct begging in our society. And the unconventional beggars, it has modernized. So they have access to the internet, and some of them made proposal. It's more like a fake yayasan who asks donators and money from that. And this host live stream is the new opportunities to bring the online beggars transitions to be the host live streaming because it is happening these days. This is about live streaming opportunity, why it can be opportunity because the first one, there's a market demand. According to research from Google, there are more than 10,000 search to looking for Shopee live services and TikTok live services, especially in Jabodetabek area. And the second one is the work flexibility. It is the main choice for business to do online marketing and sales. The third one is the affiliate system. It is the main choice for business to do online and marketing sales. I would like to highlight the affiliate systems because for one product that can be sold from the live streaming, there are a variety of commissions that can receive for the host live. And for in this context, I highlight there's around 50K for one product that's sold. Also, on the top job provider platform, there are more than 100 live streaming jobs that currently open. So it shows that a big demand for this new opportunity. Next, the ideas of target. My target is to inviting people to adapt mindset that to be responsive in rapid change in the digital world. So I do believe that it's not about poor in academic things or incapability for the financial, but it's about the mentally where they want to receive money on the easiest way. So I would like to introduce the Berthoud Maya scam. It is a campaign that I built where provide first is online coaching and to distribute online modules also for the participants and then collaborations between the lecturers with the relevant expertises and the influencers. And these durations of the program of this campaign, sorry, it's 6 months, and the program submissions to become a live streamer on TikTok. And this is the program brief. The first, the opening is to registration phase where my target is 100 content creators and select top 20 content creators to become a mentor so it can be sustainable. The top 20 can teach all the mentees. And the basic trainings, it's the introductions to the basic materials such as marketing tools and other related topics. And the third one is content development, where we analyze what can be viral on or how to engage to make content more engageful. And the fourth one is the practices, where after all these steps, they can apply all the materials that they got from the program. And the fifth one is the launching. So after we build the portfolio, they can looking for the job that provide from a link in that previous I'm showing. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziva. Wow, lots of time left. Are you sure want to finish your presentation?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's still 5 minutes. Okay. Now I would like to invite members of the judges to comment and ask question for Ziva. Maybe Mbak Natalina, or I call my twin brother Alif. Apparently, we have the same name, Alif and Alif. Please, Alif.
Thank you, Bang Alif, for the opportunity. Morning, Ziva.
Hello. Morning.
We meet here, yeah, just
Eh,
to ask some question for you. The first, I just like to say your topic is good and relevant enough to digital. I say digital era in Indonesia. Yeah, yes, because uh, in some of time we see more of live streamer and that you say online bakers. Now, my first question is you will use the live streamer TikTok as a platform to do your coaching?
Okay, so for now,
Yeah.
I'm only focusing on TikTok, but I'm not close for other opportunities open since TikTok is not the only one platform that provide live streaming features. But to start this campaign, I want to highlight only on TikTok first until this campaign can be settled to be a regular campaign and mandatory steps for live streamers on TikTok. And then I would going to the other platform to apply this campaign.
I see you put some of stakeholders in this program, like
Yeah, sure.
lectures.
Yes.
Yes, and I know that lectures usually use Zoom.
Yes, sure.
So why you put live streamer TikTok for the first option to do coaching media?
Okay, because it's I do believe that it's more accessible for all, unless the Zoom, since my campaign is non-profit campaign. So as we know that Zoom needs to be premium, and there's a durations if we doing it on Zoom platform. So I choose online streaming features on TikTok because it is free and it's also to introduce to the lecturers that the new feature of this live streaming phenomenon. That's from me.
Okay, good. Uh, you say bertaut my program is for education for online bakers in live streaming TikTok. Yeah, for sure. So why you do like decrease the people who can join the program? Like you do some selection like that. Why? Why not just uh, get all who have interest to this program and do the coaching?
Okay, I want to clarify first that um, my first target is to select around 100 to make this campaign settled. And after that, it's open for anyone who wants to join this to maximize the opportunity of live streaming. Thank you.
For me, that's enough. Yeah, good enough. Good luck for Ziva. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alif. I would like to invite other members of the judges.
Me,
Mbak
me,
Natilina,
me,
thank
me.
you.
Ziva,
Yeah,
good to know that you wrote on criminal law issue. This will be awesome.
thank you.
The question or the answer, I don't know. Let's see. Ziva,
Yeah.
how if I say that what to call the online beggar is a victimless crime
Okay.
type of crime? Please comment.
Okay. Thank you so much for the questions.
Yeah.
Um, I'm saying this phenomenon is they're not as a victim because there's someone who have access to the internet and proper gauges to do live streamer as to do live streaming. So that is why I introduced this campaign to bring them uh, transitions not to be a beggars because based on our regulations, beggars is for someone who financial incapable and they are not incapable in a financial way, and that is why for me there's not regular beggars, so they can maximize their opportunities and gauges all the stuff that they have.
So you stay away from that issue, I think. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, and since there is no regular basis or article even in penal code, the new one to 2023 to penalize a certain kind of act, do you think in the future, in the next 5 years, let's say, there will be an emergency situation or urgency to penalize those kind of activities? Do you think that there will be a blameworthiness aspect and could be a harm situation for the uh, prospect victim or the candidate victim like that in the future. So there is a urgency for the state to penalize if your campaign now doesn't work well. How do you think about that, Siva? So you know become someone who can predict what
I,
will happen in the future because we need to more updated with the crime than the future perpetrator.
okay, thank you so much for the questions. I think if this campaign not running well, and there's still many people beggars, online beggars in the future, I hope it's not the state highlight to punish them because they're just someone who have potential but cannot maximize what they have. So the alternative that I propose is to strict the regulations before someone build account on social media. Because as we know, to be able to do live streaming on TikTok, there are certain regulations that need to fulfill before one account can be a content creator and do live on TikTok. And what I mean by that is, I think it's better to strict the regulations on the making of the account instead of punish someone who doing that things because I think they can be maximized and trained well.
Do you have TikTok account?
Yes, I do.
So for what purpose do you have the TikTok account?
The first one to relate it from the task from the class to post the
Oh, there is a,
yeah,
a
but
task assignment.
yeah,
What
for the
class is that?
assignment,
What course?
Islamic law,
For-
hukum,
Is
yeah,
yeah,
Islamic law.
hukum Islam.
Hukum Islam task to build some kind of like a campaign also, but it's more like a presentations, but it posts on TikTok. But other than that, I do mainly post some content that related about university content on my platform.
Since you can identify this phenomena
Yeah.
among the community, do you think that there will be empowerment, a solution or activity from the government or the local government or from the faculty of law? Uh, we may say that to help them to empower themselves, uh, collaborate with dinas sosial of the government.
Sure. As for the government respond to this phenomenon, they did um, post surat edaran Menteri Social Ministry to avoiding this kind of act and any related act like this. But yeah, it's still not um, capable to manage these issues. So that is why after, if my campaign can be settled and become a regular campaign, becoming a mandatory step to take before someone can doing live streaming on TikTok, uh, I hope that this campaign can be collaborated with other NGOs and also social institutions to gain more people.
Do you think that based on your research, there will be amount of benefit that gained by the TikTokers as they wish to get the gift, the best gift that they could get from the everyone that influenced by their activity on TikTok? Do you think there is the good benefit on that, or this will be the other solution for everyone who need a job and still jobless, then get the money from that
Okay,
TikTok
thank you so much
activities?
to respond to that questions based on my research that I did. I also interviewed three online beggars. Most of them say that they were not financially capable. They have proper gadgets and access to the internet, but they just feel it's way more easier to baking online just to gain respect and sympathies from the audience rather than try to be a proper content creator some of them don't know how to use the tools, such as editing tools and any related to become a professional content creators. But as for the results from my campaign, I provide there's two outputs. The first one, they can choose between becoming an affiliators, which sells products on their live, or they become a host live streamer, which provided from job providers such as LinkedIn, where currently many companies open for this role of job. And from that data that I have, I think it might be increased in upcoming years, and it can be a potential job. Also, if they choose to be these online biggers, there's many new online biggers that being inspired from this act. So it's kind of competitive right now to gain audience and act like that to gain respect and sympathy, because many people realize this is not good. And I think these two options, whether becoming affiliators or host live stream, can be a solutions for the issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ziva. That's all for me, Bang Alif.
Thank you, Ibu Natalina. I'd like to invite either Bang Angga or Mbak Dinda. Okay, then Mbak Dinda, you can go first.
Okay. Good morning, Ziva.
Good morning, Ma.
I am being aware that you're a bit nervous. Am I right?
I'm kind of shaking right now.
Yeah. Okay. Or perhaps you want to sip a drink, or
No, I'm good.
okay, then. Then my first question will be, what is an exploitation?
An exploitation from my cases that from what I've been doing for the past around 3 months
Yeah.
for this kind of issues. And online beggars are mostly for people who chuck up in hukum or they're more than 18 years old, but also some of them being exploited because whether it's upper age woman or lancia or children to do this kind of life. But there's one of person behind that who know how to use technology and doing live streaming. So this person who been exploited is only playing role to gain sympathy from the audience.
Okay. And my follow-up question will be, do you think online beggars can be classified into exploitation? And if the answer to this question is affirmative, then what is the legal basis, and whether is there any specific indicators to classify this issue as one of part of exploitation within the Indonesian law perspective?
I think I would like to answer based on my interdisciplinary approach.
Yeah.
Related to the first questions, I'm not saying it's totally an exploitations. The exploitations cases is for an online beggars who been manipulated from these people who unresponsible and doing live using they as a tools for their live streamer. But as I'm present before from the videos, there are also many live streamer who already know about this trend, so they do it from their consent and their willingness, just only to gain sympathies online.
Okay, then based on your answer, I can be aware that there are two different legal issues over here. The first is that about online beggars, which is governed under our criminal code, and another issue is about the exploitation. Okay, so in this regard, that was why I was asking you about how to classify this specific legal issue, especially online beggars, whether it will be classified under the scope of exploitation or not. Because in this regard, I think it will be more important if you can make it more specific in regards to in what legal issues that you would like to propose, especially as for the solution itself. And if I also read further on your summary as well, on the second paragraph, you mention about that there are no provisions that explicitly regulate online begging by either adults or children. However, the next paragraph states that there are several provisions governing about this on the basis of the Electronic Information and Transaction Law, as well as the Minister of Social Affairs Circular Letter number 2 of 2023. Yeah. So could you please give any elaboration of this opinion?
I would like to clarify. So it's related to the internet UU ITE and the Mensos
Yes.
letter. Yeah. As for the UU ITE, unfortunately, what I want that I would what I want to highlight is there's no specific regulations that regulate about this online speaker. So I think it could be developed more about this with a law to insert these things. But what the state did is to release the Surat Edaran Mensos number 2, 2023. It is to avoiding this kind of act, but still it's not manageable to manage these issues because correct me if I'm not wrong. It's for the summary, the social letter that been published, it is only state that to avoid this kind of act. There are not specific regulates like what variety of content that produce. And also from the electronic information regulation law, it is only regulate about what kind of content that we can share on social media, such as we need to avoid hoax and no violation content and related like that. So there's still no specific regulations related to these topics.
Okay. However, based on these legal provisions that you have mentioned in your paper, do you think that society in general can also interpret the applicability of that legal provisions to specific legal issues that you have mentioned in your proposal?
Sorry, can you repeat the
Okay.
question?
So based on your answer, you've mentioned that the electronic information and transaction law already governs about what type of contents that shall be published and not, right?
Yes.
And in this regard, do you think that the issue, the specific legal issue that you have mentioned or discussed in your proposal, can be interpreted that it is falls under the scope of the provisions or no at all?
I might say it's not totally false because as um, as I seeing from TikTok right now, they can still live,
Yeah.
but TikTok already update the regulations for this live streaming,
Yeah.
and they still can pass it. So
Yeah.
which means they can pass the regulations that the categories of violations content on TikTok, and that
Okay.
is why it is becoming urge for TikTok or perhaps the regulations that currently we have to more specific regulate about this kind of topics. I think that's all. from
Okay.
me.
Thank you, Zifa, for your presentation as well, your explanation towards my questions. However, perhaps I will give you several feedbacks, especially when it comes to the law that should be interpreted under your proposal or the scope of your proposal. And I do think that it will be also important for you to make sure or to read further about the terms and conditions that it lies within the TikTok application. Because in this regard, you know that the terms and conditions within TikTok applications will be applied for the TikTok users as well as the TikTok itself. And also to be noted that the the content of TikTok is accessible globally, right? Is accessed globally. What does it means? That legal implications is that there will be very broad interpretation in regards to whether this content is good or not, and whether this the activity that is being published by the TikTok users shall be classified as an online makers or not, or whether it will be classified as an exploitation or not. See, because why is that? Because again, this will be also related to the applicable law to the TikTok users, TikTok itself, as well as the audience, right?
Okay.
So instead of only focusing on the electronic information and the transactional law, or either the ministers of social affairs, I do think that it will also be important to look at the very details of the terms and condition of the application, because as a law student you can also interpret it as the quote unquote agreement between the TikTok users as well as the audience as well as the TikTok agents as well.
Okay.
Okay, because this can also determine the applicable law to the act under the TikTok activities. Okay. So yeah, and however, that was a good job overall. So thank you.
Thank you, Madina, for your um, deep feedback. Now I will invite Bang Angga to give the final comment.
How many minutes that we have?
9.
Okay, 9. That should be enough. Okay. Um, so, Zifa.
Yeah.
Okay, Zifa. Here's the thing. You use the articles and norms in the penal code and also the ITE law, the EIT law. Um, let's talk about the penal code first. In this sense, it's basically an act of begging in public. Is TikTok a public places?
No. Oh, sure, but it's online.
Then
It's accessible for
okay,
publics,
then
but not directly.
is it adequate to use the norm for the basis of these ideas?
Okay, I would like to answer. So when I'm doing this research, there is the only article and paragraph that can be related for this kind of issues because the society categorize it as an online because so it's not doing it on public directly, but doing it online, but still accessible for public.
Okay, but still, is it included in the definitions and the norms?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay,
But
so
I
you
use that as a reference, so I hope there's can be regulated as an online speakers.
yes, you use it as a reference, but in your paper you kind of use it as a basis. So it's not really. I mean, the ideas cannot sit well because it's not included in the definition of norms. Okay, so you have to be careful in that. You're a law student. Um, I'm tackling the law aspect first, and then I'm going to be a bit practical. The second one, um, how about? I mean, it's content. It's not in public places. In this sense, how do you tackle the ideas of creating maybe mandi lumpur, the mud bathing, as in contrary to freedom of expression? I mean, that's a freedom of expression. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, nobody heard. There's victimless crime, like Bu Natalina said.
Okay. When it comes to for entertainment purposes, like I mentioned before, there's several programs that we use to watch on television, like Bedah Rumah, Tukang Nasib, Orang Pinggiran, and others. They produce that for entertainment purposes, but it's become different when it comes to TikTok because they manipulate, like Mbak Dinda mentions before, children and also older women or those people who categorize that incapable and physically to be as they use it as a toy for the live streaming itself, not for entertainment purposes, but to gain a sympathetic from the audience, and that what I would like to highlight.
Okay, so in this sense, this is actually your effort in a sense raise the quality of content in Indonesia.
Yeah, sure. And it's only
It, it
happened in Indonesia.
yeah, but in this sense, it does not really relating to beggars activities. It does not really relate to poverties because we're talking about ethics. What is adequate to be shown in public, right? I mean, if it's not begging, if it's not using the features of giving monies in TikTok, the content itself ethically questionable, right? The question
Sure.
is not the begging itself. So you need to be careful in that because you're trying to tackle the begging, the beggars activities, but as far as I understand your paper, it's basically more into ethical guideline in creating content. So it kind of close, but it's actually two different matters. You need to be careful in that. And the third one, this is getting technical. You said that it's going to be mentorship towards this content creator that creates this unethical or maybe non-adequate content in TikTok and
Yeah.
taking revenues from it. Okay, in this sense, uh, creating the mandi lumpur, the mud bath phenomenon in TikTok, it's kind of different with begging in the traffic lights. I
Yeah.
mean, in the traffic lights, people will come across that eventually, right? And this then when you are talking about TikTok, people are gathering there, even though they don't have to cross the TikTok. So in this sense, they have the knacks, they have the abilities to gather uh, attention from people, and even in a sense persuade them to pay. In this sense, this is also a skills of its own, a marketing skill of its own. So this will mean that arguably these kind of people have expertise, right?
Yeah,
They have expertise to gather attention and even persuade people to pay.
Yeah.
In this sense, uh, do these people want some kind of mentorship when they can walk on the field alone? And oh, okay. How many minutes? 4. Okay. So maybe you can give it a short answer in that one because I have the last question that need more elaborative.
I think since this is my last answers, so yeah, I did some interview asking them who, yeah, I might say a successful online figures, and from what I got from the interview, they said, "Why do I need to join your program if I can gain such a bigger amount of money here just doing this online figures?" But the 2 months after the interview, I asked him again. There's many new content creators doing the same things like him, and I think TikTok also update the new terms of the live streaming itself, so it's kind of hard for people who making inappropriate content to boost on FYP terms of TikTok. Okay, what I mean by that is there are people who have access to the internet and proper gadgets, but why they choose to become online beginners because they don't know the tools how to use, such as editing tools and also a proper marketing things related like that. Because if you want to become a host live streamer, that on the job provider currently provide, there's a job for host live streamer. uh, they have some kind of requirements that need to fulfill. So these online bakers doesn't match with the categories and requirements because they're only baking on TikTok. Yeah, sure, they have the ability to communicate and to promote that, but not in a professional way. So that is why I want to make this campaign as a mandatory steps, so it can be collaborated with other platforms, maybe such as Ruang Guru or collaborating with other NGOs. So these online beginners who have such a big potential can be maximize their skills.
Okay. I believe it's still 1 minute, yeah, Pak Alif, yeah. Okay. So in the sense, this is a good opportunity. You said that this is going to be proposed to TikTok as a mandatory
Steps
campaign.
before. Yeah.
In this sense, let's just think that we are TikTok. Convince us that we want to fund this kind of program proposed by you in 1 minute. Convince us as TikTok.
Okay, so hello judges. I want to show you that there's a more proper job that you can choose instead of being an online beggars who's saying,
Sorry, may I cap? Let's make it simple. We are TikTok. We're going
sorry.
to fund you. We're going to fund you in creating your program. Convince us so we can give your money to you. Yeah.
Oh.
We are
I'm
TikTok.
sorry. So it is the proposal that to become a mandatory
Yes.
steps, or as a
To become a part of TikTok program, the campaign.
just want to clarify, my campaign is don't need money or financial support. So it's purely campaign design that proposes it.
Hi guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't get it.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah, you need to be more attractive. Is it really doesn't really? Is it doesn't really need any money because
Oh.
you say it's going to be mentorship. Who are going to pay the mentor and such?
I was thinking it can be pro bono or like that. Yeah, because it's related to social issues. So I think, and that is why to be sustainable, if we need money, and it might be hard to be sustainable because there need also a proper management to for this kind of money and requires such a big responsibilities.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Alif. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Bang Angga and Ziva. Wow, it's really becoming a Shark Tank in here. Apparently Ziva doesn't need funds to fund his project. Okay, but it's
Thank you
fine.
so much.
Thank you, Zipa, for your presentation. Now I would like to call Ashila. Where is Ashila? Is Ashila here? I couldn't see her. Ah, okay. Yeah, you're hiding somewhere. Okay, Ashila, the time is yours.
All right. That's, I will start my presentation in a count of 3, 2, 1. Education is the formation of an elite. Before I move into my presentation, I would like to share my stories first. Um, in 2021, I got accepted at Universitas Indonesia in Faculty of Law. And following the offline learning systems, I moved to Depok, which is, I believe that all of the students here also did as well. I leave my hometown with my life, my family, and my friends back in West Sumatra to pursue my dream here. I grew up with a notion that if I work hard and I study hard, that I will be able to realize my dream. That education will get me a good job, and a good job means good life. But that is not always the case. So you can imagine how it breaks my heart and also thousands of Indonesian youths to hear this kind of news, where there is such a high rate of unemployed of the college graduates in Indonesia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ashila Khaira Yasmin, finalist of Outstanding Students of Faculty of Law, Universitas Indonesia. And this today occasions, I will present my ideas, Sujana, skills untuk kerja sebenarnya, or in English, skills for the real work, which aims to bridging the professional and academic world to address the education and employment issue in Indonesia. Well, college graduate actually just represents small amounts of people in Indonesia based on this data from the Central Bureau of Statistics. Only 10% of the total population in Indonesia completed their higher education institutions. And from that small percentage even, not all of them are absorbed in the world of working, where here as of August 2023, only 12% of the employment rate in Indonesia are from the college graduates, which totaling nearly 1 million individuals. If we ask that the case is there is just no vacant job in in Indonesia or in world even, the research from Manpower Group in 2024 also provide us with the data that 75% of job in this world are remain empty. And in Indonesia case, there are 9 million vacant job positions in Indonesia, which remains waiting to be filled. So what's the case then? It is the fact that our graduates cannot meet the requirements of the job that needs by the employer. And this situation is called skill gap. So here are some factors that causing skill gaps. The first one is that the human capacity that we have now cannot adapt rapidly to the evolving technology which happening in the industry of industrialization 4.0. And the second one is that the changes in skills demanded in industrial sectors are much very different from what it used to be years before now. And the third one is also the lack of the integrations of industrial required skills into the process of learning in the educational institutions. That's why when we finish our higher education system in event, that we still don't have the skills to do the job in the real world. Here, I also provide some exhibits that shows several that 76% jobs in this world are prone to be are prone to gain different skills from what it used to be. And in these matters, in the marketing specialist, there are some skills that are no longer needed, and also new emerging skills that are required to have in order for someone to work in those fields. So what's Sujana? Sujana can be derived from Sanskrit language, which means that a person who is virtuous, wise, or intelligent. So Sujana is a program that is designed to aim facilitating this discussion between the employers and the academic world regarding of what skills they need from the the working force to be able to implement it in the educational systems so that the college graduates can better prepare for the real uh, working field. There are two features in this website that I initiated. The first one that is integrated curriculum system, which can standardize nationally, where the employers insert their data, what skills they need, and requirement that they want from a college graduate into the database management system of Sujana, where the output of this process is that the list of most relevant to the least relevant skills that needs to be integrated in the learning process. But the academicians also have a voice in this regard. What matter of fact is that they have the final say, which they, based on that list, they can say which skills that needs to be implemented and which one are not, and that it should be gained through the real experience of working itself. And then the output is that this integrated curriculum guide that can be accessed by all of the college or universities in Indonesia, so that they all have the guidance, or in my case, what I say, the North Stars, that they can integrate it in their learning process. After that, to ensure the effectivity of this program, there are also features called stars of study. What this feature have is that the alumni of a college give their information of their job currently, and also give their feedback about skills that had been implemented year before based on what they experience, and they can give feedbacks on what skills that actually used and help them to secure the jobs in the marketplace. And uh, it will be it will also provide us with the um, employment rate based on the graduation from the universities, which the results are one of the accreditation systems point to be inserted from the universities. This is my analysis for the Sujana work plan, which is the first one is specific. The aim is to reduce the skill gaps and lowering the employment rate of the college graduates in Indonesia from 12% now to 6% by the year of 2030, which are the peak number of bonus demography in Indonesia. And then measurable, we can track the progress based on the tracer studies results, and also Center Bureau of Statistic data that I also previously provide. And then it is also acceptable because the interests of the involved parties are accommodated where the employers needs to fill their vacant jobs and actually needs the employee to run their business. And at the same time, we also, from the educational field, wants that after we graduate from the institution, we can apply our knowledge to be able to serve for the communities. And then also this program is realistic because it just optimizing the potential of the well-established technologies right now. And the last one is the time bound. This program is designed to be sustainable because they can adapt more quickly uh, with the transitions of the skills need that happening right now, which is actually the why the programs initiated at the first place as well. So in its first year of implementation, the Sujana program will focus on establishing a website and enhancing the participations of the employers and also the higher education institutions so that we can gain more broad data and also have more comprehensive understanding of what the status quo is currently right now. And for the second years and beyond, alumni engagement will be strengthened primarily through the implementation of stressor studies features, which I also mentioned that they can give their feedback on the skills that have been implemented while they are learning in the universities. For my last words, I want to emphasize that higher education on average is worth of 5 years of one's lifetime, sometimes even more, of thousands, if not millions, of Indonesian youths. It is their life and it should be valuable. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for Ashila. Okay, only Madinda. Just kidding. Now, I would like to invite members of the jury to give comments and questions for Ashila. Angga, Bang Angga, please.
Okay, Sheila, I do watch your presentation in the Bahasa Indonesia. There's also an issue in intellectual property, if I'm not mistaken. In this sense, how do you think about it? The last answer you given to the judges in Bahasa Indonesia is actually it's going to be owned by the Kementerian, if I'm not mistaken, right? So here's one thing here. Even in the UK back then, when I'm still studying in the UK, that's actually problems on intellectual property. Is it owned by the lecturer, the docent, or is it owned by the universities? Not to mention that this is we are talking about national skill data, which is ministries. In this sense, how do you think is there any bargaining position that you could give in a sense to alleviate all the conditions? So it's a win-win solution between the lecturer, which is the one that created the syllabus, and then the university, which is the affiliate of that lecturer, the one that nurturing the lecturer, and then the ministries itself. So is there any bargaining position that you may have an ideas to alleviate those kind of situations?
All right. Well, in this program, I initiated that it will be run by a team of academics, so it's not belong to one specific universities or one person instead. Instead, it is a team made by the government itself to initiate and implement this program. So, with that being said, I believe that, of course, they have the rights to the knowledge and the work that they have been done. But um, as in Indonesia, it is hak cipta that they initially have as a creator, but the others rights, intangible rights will belong to the government as an initiator, or in this regard is Kemendikbud.
Okay. I believe that's it's not practical enough. I mean, you need to think more, explore more about how to make the situation to be a win-win solution because the one who created is the docent. The syllabus is creating the docent, and each of the parties other than the docent is actually becoming the platform to share, right? In a sense, how to kind of divide the right. So it's kind of win-win solution. What kind of uh, reward that may be given to the lecturer or maybe the universities that want to participate and given their own syllabus. It's similar to trade secrets, you know. I mean, uh, in the past presentation, it's been discussed, yeah, and I'm not going to discuss it anymore. So maybe I'm going to continue to my second questions. Um, Sujana, skills
Untuk kerja sebenarnya.
untuk kerja sebenarnya. So this is the thing, Ashila. This is a bit. It's kind of irks me. It's kind of make me a bit gatel ya in Indonesia gitu. When you talk about skills untuk kerja sebenarnya, practical skills, um, and how you tackle it is actually you are gathering tracer studies and also syllabus, which is that's an academic product. It's not really practical, right? So you are trying to tackle a non-academic means through an academic system. That's quite a problematic. Maybe you can defend it after this because, in this sense, there's an anecdote. Okay, that fresh graduate is not really directly usable. They need to be trained first to be working. That's why there is an anecdote saying that at the first 6 months you're going to be photocopying things, right? You need to learn how to direct the practical situation of your office, and then you can take a leap to maybe participate in doing things that needs to be done. Um, which I believe the solution of that is not really by gathering tracer studies and also syllabus because it's kind of answering the problem and another problem, the same problem, right? So, what is in your defense? Uh, how to extract this really particular practical skills and maybe being taught this burst into many market or many people because if it's the solution is like that then you just okay, this is a problem caused by academic problems, and you just fill it with another academics. That's going to be problematic. So, what is your defense on that?
All right. So the basic idea from this is that even at the entry level, there is also the similar phenomenon that the employers cannot find the skills that even at the basic levels required to enter the job position itself. So maybe that uh, if I can show here in the marketing industry also that you can see that market research, customer contract, and etc. is actually declining in needs. And where today in today's world that there are the more demands on market strategies or Adobe design in the marketing industry, which is uh, needs to be uh, needs to be uh, possessed by the entry level employee. And in that regard, is that the idea is to gain the information from the broad of scopes from the working field. So I believe there is just not enough if we search this marketing strategy and we search also the one research in law and so one research in communication. So the idea is that we have the technologies for processing data in a massive way, in an effective way, that we can utilize that by including the employers to give the perspective what they need in from our graduates, and then from that data academicians can see and have like what is actually currently needed in the industry right now, and based on that that they can decide which one that really have to be experienced, like what you said, in the real positions, like uh, uh, it just needs to be uh, experience in working field, and which one can be addressed in educational learning systems.
Okay, maybe this is a bit of what is it called? Masukan. What is the English word? Yeah, recommendations. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, this is a bit of common speech. So, in this sense, you are trying to gather information about practical skills, which actually can be looked after with a simple. It's not really simple. You need to conduct lots of interviews with the stakeholders. I mean, let's just say, okay, legal students, lawyers, fresh graduates in law. You enter a law firms on maybe media. Then you need to know about marketing and such. That's the practical, right? You need to differentiate it between there's a two kinds of education, right? The academic one, the formal one, and the professional one, which is means to tackle practical skills. That's a two different thing. In this sense, I know you are trying to create the professional education back into the university, but remember, it's actually two different things. That's why we have CLA. We have the continuing legal education that tackles the practical skills, and not the faculty itself as the formal curriculum to tackle the practical skills. Maybe my recommendation is you need to maybe rethink on who you who who you should put the burden to. Because in this sense, you are burdening back again into the lecturer, right? Which is tackling the formal education, which needs to tackle the formal skills, the substantive skills. In the practical skills, there's another target that you maybe can put the burden into. And that's maybe a bit more lenient towards the win-win solution to all parties in this context. So I think that's for me, Bang Alif. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Bang Angga, for your questions and comments. I would like to invite other members of the audience to give comments. Barinda, Baranda. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, Ashila.
Good morning.
How do you feel right now?
Nervous actually, but I'm trying not to.
Okay. So, are you satisfied with your presentation by now?
I think I still could do more better, but maybe a little backstory. I also had some things going on with another project, so this is the best that I can do for this situations.
Okay. All right. So my first question will be about the objective or the aim of Sujana. Could you please recall again about the aim of Sujana?
All right. The aim is actually to remove the feel that actually, from my perspective as also students in the universities, I feel like I am just blindly trying to find what skills should I have in order to secure my positions in future career. So that is basically what I want to address here, so that even the students and the teachers aware of that there is more than theological knowledge needs to be required, so it needs to be possessed before entering the workforce.
Okay. And then relating to your answer, previously you also mentioned a lot about skills gap, right? And I also do understand about the definition of skills gap that you have been mentioned in your proposal or paper as well. However, I do not see a genuine or clear cause of the skills gap itself. So, could you please elaborate more about the main cause and what kind of indicators or factors that is establishing that okay, there is skill gaps within the educational system as well as the professional works or works in general, and what are those?
Okay, so the skill gaps, as I also mentioned, is that there is this gap from what graduate of college graduate have that are not meet the requirement for they to secure the position that they should have had, because of what the education, what education they are actually have completed, like for let's say from the graduate of communication major, they actually can do work in the broadcasting field and etc. And but to enter that field, they don't meet the requirement from the employee, which like having the skills in let's say social media and digital marketing that based on this data are not taught in the curriculum of the universities. So that is the skill gaps what I'm trying to address in this proposal.
Okay, then based on your answer, then okay, how can I ask for? Okay, so in this regard, so is the main cause is because of the um, the expectation of the company or the firms is too high, or whether is that the educational system that is not sufficient to prepare students for them to work after they will be graduated. Which one?
I think it's both because that is actually why there is this skill gaps in the first place. That we also have to see it from the employer's perspective. They have to run their business, and also they want to hire the effective employee that actually do the work. And with that being said, it is urgent to address that into the educational system so that because the employers as also expects that by hiring people from higher educational institution that they have enough knowledge and capabilities that they want to have because that is the expectation but from the fact that we know it is not the case, and that is what Sujana is trying to accommodate so that we can have the forum of discussion between the working field and also the academic that can accommodate the skill gaps that are happening.
Okay, because based on your answer as well as based on my previous questions, I do aware that um, as the perspective of a lecturer as well as a lecturer who is also part of the educational system of the faculty, in these regards, you have to differentiate between two important methods in education. The first one is about what have been written in the books or regulations, which is about we talk about all the how should and how should the provisions be implemented, and we talk about the theories in class, we have the discussions and so on. So all is about the substantial methods of the education, which is mostly written in books, and you can find it in any theories that is being taught in class. Okay, and that is part of the knowledge of the students. Okay, and that is the least expectation that is being expected by employers. Okay, and the second thing is that we also talk about the systems. How is the curriculum being set, and whether the students will be able to survive in a professional environment. Okay. However, in this regard, the skills, I do think personally that the skills gap in this case is that it's not merely about the knowledge, but also how the students can having the ability to learn starting from zero. That they will have an unlimited integrity as well as curiosity. Because I think there was several methods that should be the basis of students before they can, for instance, go abroad to continue their studies or even to apply for jobs. Okay, so I do think that the main cause of the skills gaps is not only merely because of the highest expectations of the employers or either the insufficient education that is being provided by university, but another problem is that also to the students itself. In this regard, the um, the most well the most well as students, let's say, they could not um, survive in a professional environment if they could not being a cooperative colleagues to their values in the firms, for instance. And in this regard, whether all of those requirements or will be set under the curriculum, the answer is no. So in this regard, I do think that another problem is that how can we increase the awareness of students, of young people, that they are not only required to obtain the knowledge that is being taught in class, but also it is their own responsibility to have more that is being taught in class.
All right.
Do you see the gap? Okay, do you think what do you see what I see here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that how can we increase or sorry, how can we decrease the skills gap is that it's normally based on what can the company do and what can the university do, but also the main quote unquote the main object, the main subject, or can we say that the main people who are involved within the educational system. We need the participation of all of people who are involved within the educational system. In this regard, as been stated by Bang Angga as well, that it would be not that fair to only give this burden to both of the employers as well as the lecturers, because you know that being part of the educational system you have to be able to adapt not only to absorb and to receive the knowledge that is being taught in class, but also you also have that kind of skills. You have to um, have this kind of a willingness that okay, I have to gain more. And how we can do that is that mentorship within seniors to juniors, within our alumni to our new students will be more important here. Because I am afraid that the skills gap that even young people or even students, they even do not aware that they do have that skills gap. And do that skills gap is also a problem to young people. So the very first stage of the um, problem solving here, I do think is that we have to give like a socialization to the young people that yes, skills gaps is one of your problem, and this is also one of your responsibility to be aware of it and at least to increase your awareness that what should I do, because if we talk further about the educational system, now we have BKM, we have exchange, we do have internships, and we have, for instance, like the OLC. You can see your alumni, your seniors, who will talk about how should internships and what is the expectation of the employees. So, what is the novelty of the Sujana itself?
All right. Okay. So the Sujana itself is actually aligned with your statement because it brings the awareness of young people of that uh, just being taught by the conventional education system right now is not enough, because here in Sujana you can see that a lot of skills actually required from the employers. And also, if I can here, the output of the input data from the employer itself is not just like uh, given by just like that. It's not like that. But the academicians have final say on what should be implemented in the class and what should not. But the data itself is accessible to everyone, so they can check it out, and if and they can also be aware that which skills are implemented and integrated in their curriculums and which skills are not, but are in demand from the employers, and so that what they can do is it's given back to them. And so the basic idea from this is transparency of the information itself, and how can we provide the data from for everyone in Indonesia, and also give the space for the employees to voice their opinion and what they need in this regard.
Okay, so perhaps as the closing of my session in this Q&A session is that um, now I would like you to play a role as an employer. And what is your expectation towards students, especially students who will be graduated from the oldest and the best law school in Indonesia?
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't think I have the capability of of seeing the perspective of employer, but what maybe I can say that from a fresh graduate, I from law school, I need that they have to understand the basic law uh, first of all, but also that they need to know how to present it and how to communicate it for the clients who are not from the legal basis, and how they can put their work in the legal documents, and maybe that's it from.
Okay, and a follow-up question. Let's say that you're now a fresh graduate from the best and the oldest law school in Indonesia. And what will you do to obtain or to gain such skills that is required by the employer?
Well, okay. So maybe first of all, the unemployment is higher in non-favorable universities, right? So in this regard, I also want to integrate it the equal education systems, so that the information can be accessed from the less favorable university as well, in what we are here in Universitas Indonesia have in our learning systems, that they can implement in their uh, learning system as well. And for that question, what I would do personally, because I've been given the facilities in this university, and also the information from a lot of alumni that have been worked in field that I want. So I can obtain that, try to learn the skills myself. But the issue here is that not everyone comes from uh, the place that provide that kind of facilities, and that is what Sujanya here is for. It is for the equality for of all the students here in Indonesia, so that they can assess what is actually uh, been given to us here in Universitas Indonesia, which the maybe students from Irian Jaya and also from Aceh can also have the information. Maybe it's not from uh, what it's really practical, but at least they have the guidance that they need to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Dinda. So because Bang Alif needs to leave for teaching, I'm covering both role as judges and moderator. The other judges, okay, Alif, silakan.
Morning, Ashila. That was an amazing presentation. The judges asked some question, and now I come to a conclusion that Sujana is similar like LinkedIn.
No, really.
So what the difference?
Because LinkedIn is merely just give what it says like this is there are vacant jobs, and the requirements is here, but that's it. That you need to find it yourself. You need to process it yourself, and the employers don't have anything to do with it. But and also there is also no link with the universities or educational systems that can actually help us to build the skills that we need. So in this Sujana, what's new is that we accommodate the discussions from the employers and also the academics to find what the balance of what education and also skills needs to be given for the students in order to be able to prepare for their future career.
Okay, just say that's your argument. So, no habit in a graduate student and the company, yeah, most likely to use LinkedIn. So, what will you do to engage both the graduate student and the company to move from LinkedIn to Sujana?
Well, here's the issue. LinkedIn is a platform to find a job, right? Well, Sujana is not a platform to find a job. It is a platform to how to give a message or how to, let's like what Mbak Dida say, meet the expectations of the employers and also the academicians, so that we are in the same page on these matters, and the gaps from the expectation of the employers and what the college graduates have is can be reduced if not erased. That is the point of Sujana. It's not a platform for finding a job.
Okay, good. In your presentation, you also mentioned about the DAPS and Tracer Study. It's like I know that like a software.
Mhm.
Is that a software?
Yeah, it is a technology that used to process data. It's database management systems. It's also
Okay.
it's just terms basically.
Who will provide that?
That is the Kemendikbud because at the end of the day, they are the provider of these programs.
If Kemendikbud not interested to join your Sujana project, who will provide the BMS and Tracer Study?
All right. If that's the case, it's actually can be done by the private enterprise, but yeah, actually can be done, but it would be more efficient if they have support from the government, because also we need to integrate this into the curriculum systems. But if it's been done by private sectors, it can be like the output can be like a guidance for the students and also the teachers in each field to be able to um, teach and find the materials that are uh, relate to the current issues right now.
Okay, last question from me. If Sujana is a program have intends to cut the unemployment rate from graduate student in Indonesia, could you say how what the percentage you can say that all graduate student who join Sujana program can get.
All right, maybe here
I think
uh,
the time has
yeah.
elapsed. So, Bu Natalina, is it okay if I stop? Because we need to keep things punctual, so we can end early. I'm very sorry for Bu Natalina, does not have any turns. So, thank you, Ashila, for the presentations. Big applause to Akila. Ashila.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, I think without further ado, the next contestant, I believe Maita, yeah? Okay. Is Maita here? All right. Okay. I think so. We can keep things under wrap punctually. I believe it's better for us to continue to the next presentations.
Test.
Okay.
Uh, is it ready already? No.
Yes.
You can begin. Maybe you can test it the slides first. Yeah. Okay. I believe it's working. So, Maita, Ciara, Sasabita.
That's right.
Okay. So we're going to start your presentation. The duration will be 15 minutes. You can start. Bu Dewan Juri, Pak Dewan Juri. Ready? Okay. We can start from now.
Starting my presentation in 3, 2, 1. Ilmu padi abangku, menunduk seperti padi abangku, common expression used in the social media right now. But do we really have the knowledge to cater padi, or do we really have the knowledge to cater our farmers? Maybe the following 30 seconds video covering our national issue will uncover what's currently been happening in Indonesia right now. Just 30 seconds of video.
Versi netnya hampir 2000 ya. Nampaknya juga kita kalau misalkan beli lagi tuh motor kita kurang kuat ya buat beli. Masuk ini masalah main harga jual gabah kering di tingkat petani turun drastis dari harga 7.800 menjadi 6.800 per kilogram. Kondisi ini membuat petani rugi karena tak bisa menutup biaya produksi yang dimulai dari masa tanam. Tumpukan dan biaya panen.
Let's digest the information just from the 30 seconds of the previous video. The information is very simple. Money is not everything, but everything needs money, including rice sellers, rice traders that needs money to continue to distribute the rice for all of us, and also the farmers who needs money to continue the production of rice itself. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Good morning to all Abang, Mbak, and fellow students, prospective judges of this event. I would like to also extend my gratitude to Ibu Yeni Salma Barlinti and also Ibu Wi Awiyati for their assistance throughout the process of the forming of this proposal. In this presentation, I would like to present to all of the judges the proposal titled Increasing the Income of Organic Rice Farmers Through Waste to Energy Mechanism, the Utilization of Rice Husk for Power Plant Industries with Business-to-Business Scheme. Indonesia is an agricultural country. We are an agrarian country. We have more than 28 million of agricultural business households and also more than 27 million of the farmer households. Even in 2022, we were able to produce more than 54 million tons of rice. However, what might be a little bit of paradoxical is that in 2024, as Indonesia, we are projected to import 3.6 million tons of rice throughout 2024. So what is the correlation between the problem so-called in the picture? Step by step throughout the presentation, I will reveal to you what is the correlation between coal and also rice. But just bear in mind that currently Indonesia government is committed to achieve sustainable development goals in 2030. But the funny thing is that instead of reducing the production of coal or the extraction of coal, the Indonesian government in 2024 increased the domestic market obligation of coal to even reach more than 600 million tons of coal domestic market obligation. So this is really going to be an important background research of this proposal also. Before continuing to the solutions, there are several issues that I found out throughout the forming of this proposal. Let's trace back to the previous problem. The problem is rice is now expensive, but why is that so? There are several issues. First, the decrease of farmers' productivity, specifically organic rice farmers, because they think that right now the cost of production to produce rice for farmers is expensive, more expensive than it has been before, but the income is stagnant or even less than the cost of production. So they have the reluctancy to continue produce rice because they are afraid of the business law, the business laws, for example. So it trickles down to the decrease of farmers' productivity at the end of the day. But the second issue is that rice has waste. Rice as waste has been an important commodity as an alternative source of income for farmers because farmers use to utilize rice husk waste and manage it to become another product and sell it so that they will get alternative income to uh, compensate for the cost of production. However, right now in the status quo, the market for rice husk waste product is really polarized, making it blurry, making it not certain for the farmers whether or not they can rely the source of alternative income to the rice husk waste in itself. So it becomes another issue in this presentation. Honestly, it's the political dynamic of public policies related to rice, mainly the importing rice policy. We know that the cost of production is now expensive. It trickles down to the price of the rice is now expensive. But the imported rice in the domestic market right now make it add the turmoil to the rice production in itself, to the rice sales and buy in itself, because there is a reluctance for the rice farmers to market their product due to the unfair competitions within the market in itself. Before coming to the solutions, there are several potentials that I identify that that plays a really important role in these solutions. Firstly, the common practice to utilize agriculture waste. As I've said before, rice husk is a common trait of commodities to compensate for the cost of production. So I think that this is also a potential regarding the solutions, and then also the government's agenda to accelerate the utilization or the management of the rice husk waste. For example, the National Research and Innovation Agency has been pushing the farmer to manage and utilize agricultural waste, specifically rice husk, for example, to become silica or brisket and so on and so forth. So I think that this potential will add a value to the solution later on. Second potential is the transition of steam power plant and its connection with rice husk. Nowadays, the government, to achieve the sustainable agenda in 2030, they want to transition the steam power plant to and also by committed to the early retirement of steam power plant through the presidential regulations number 112 of 2022. What is the connection with this agenda with rice husk? Because apparently, rice husk can be an alternative fuel for the steam power plant, or even be the main fuel for the biomass power plant. So I think that this also become a potential regarding the solution later on.
Kualitas berasnya juga berkurang sih.
From that video, we know that there is also a minor problem regarding the quality of rice that's accessed currently in the market. So another potential would be the organic rice farming and the connection with the proposal. I believe that organic rice would be a sustainable farming system in this proposal, because organic rice with traditional farming system has better quality of rice, and even the overall production of the organic rice would be more than the overall production of the unorganic rice, and they potentially will add twice the initial income from inorganic rice farming. So it will eventually adds on to the income of the farmers in itself. So what is the solution to the problem regarding the decrease of the productivity due to the decrease of income itself? Anti-succumb income program is a socialization and also assistance of rice husk business opportunity, which is through the socialization and counseling. The program will bridge the gap of information that farmers can directly sell their rice husk waste to the power plant industries with business-to-business scheme, followed by farmers empowerment and also the other program and incentives that already exist in status quo under the Ministry of Agriculture and other related authorities. Why business-to-business scheme is possible in this case? Because from the perspective of the farmers, as I've said before, they have the incentive to seek for additional income, as well as to manage the rice husk waste that's no longer sustainable in terms of marketability in the current status quo. From the perspective of the companies in itself, they have the agenda to commit to the green economy by reducing the net carbon emissions of their industry, for example. So they have this push to at least transition to be more environmentally friendly industry by using this mixture of rice husk, or even transition the steam power plant to the biomass power plant at the end of the day. To make it easier for measurement and also supervision of the program, I think that it will be wise for this program to also establish a pilot project, anti Sekam program, which will involve two power plants, which are the PLT Mogan Ilir in South Sumatra and also PLT Utarahan in Lampung. Why is that so? Because right now, PLTB Mogan Ilir is a biomass power plant who already running in the status quo. And they already use rice as the mixtures of fuel for their power plant. So that, and also the South Sumatra is the fifth biggest province for production of rice in Indonesia right now. So I think that this will be wise to include the PLTB Mogan Ilir in this project and also the PLT Utarahan to transition PLT Utarahan into more environmentally friendly power plant by using this rice husk as their main fuel or alternative mixture in their fuel, while also Lampung being the sixth highest production of rice in terms of province in Indonesia. And also between the PLT Bemogan Ilir and PLT Utarahan, they have relatively short distance, so it enables an easier supervision of the measurement of the program between the two power plants if if this program is established. Lastly, of course, the program evaluation and supervision. There will be two types of evaluations. Firstly, the agriculture evaluation, which will include three cropping periods a year to measure rice production, market price fluctuation, and also at the end of the productivity of the farmers in itself. And the power plant evaluation, one period a year to measure the carbon emission produced by the power plant after this program is established. There are several stakeholders involved in this program. Firstly, the government with the Ministry of Agriculture and related authorities, for example, the Director General of Agriculture in the provinces, for example, and also farmers group, and other types of agriculture business that needs to utilize their rice husk, for example, and they need this program to get additional income and so on and so forth. And like state-owned electricity company or private sectors that needs this program so for them to transition to achieve sustainable development goals at the end of the day. And lastly, the general public, including students, the general public that will be benefited from this program, but also can participate in this program through the socialization and counseling phases. What are expected outputs of this program? Firstly, of course, the utilization of rice husk waste, reducing agriculture production waste, increasing income for farmers to have security net to at least try to produce organic rice again, and also become the alternative fuel for a power plant or for steam power plant. After that, it stimulates the organic rice production, encouraging additional rice production sources with good quality, increasing the income of the farmers after they sell the organic rice. And lastly, to commit with the green economy because it reduces the use of coal and eventually will reduce the net carbon emission, at least in comparison to using coal, and also supporting the environmental agenda by the government. This is a smart solution because it supports the sustainable development goals in asserting the issues of food security and also responsible consumption and production. It's specific for farmers and electricity company, measurable through statistical data, acceptable because it does not against any applicable positive law, realistic because it maximizes the current potential that's already exists in the status quo now, and also time bound because it is limited according to 2030 SDGs commitment and LTU transition until 2040. After this program, I would say that money is not everything, but everything can be made into money, including rice husk waste, including farmers that does not need to be captivated in the confusion of what should they do with this rice husk waste in the status quo right now. I would like to quote Dr. Thomas Jefferson, former US president. Agriculture is our wisest person because it will, in the end, contribute most to real wealth, good morals, and happiness. If the United States of America once thought that way, Indonesia, as an agrarian country, should also think far and beyond to advance the agriculture sector. Hence, why we need to realize this program. Thank you. If there is any questions or recommendations, I would like to entertain the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maita. Give applause to Maita. Okay, right. So we're going to get the question and answer session by the judges. I would like to invite the judges who wants to give the comments first. Natalie, persilakan.
Angga. Hello, Maita. Indeed, it is a huge idea. Yeah, idea. And I give appreciation because you have attention. You give your attention to the crisis to respond that and the improvement to zero hunger. As a huge idea, as a human, as the common person, we need the factual action. You very right idea. It should be feasible and reliable. So it will be nyata, gitu, real and relate to us. So let us create a simulation as the future Bachelor of Law person, or the candidate of the Bachelor person that graduated from UI, from FHUI, how to make it happen. The first, if I can copy from Mbak Dinda as a role play, if you become the future Bachelor of Law candidate from Faculty of Law, and the second, if you become the future Minister of Agriculture, how to implement your idea, and the third, as the future Director PLN, the head of Power Indonesia, how to make it. Please, Maite.
Thank you so much for the challenge, Ibu. Firstly, as a Bachelor of Law, I think as a Bachelor of Law, we are very keen of justice. So, as a Bachelor of Law, we don't have to be a lawyer to realize this program. In 2021, I visited my hometown in Lampung, in Kabupaten Pringsewu, and directly engaged with the kelompok petani in Pringsewu. So I think as a Bachelor of Law in the future, I can also do that again in the future by socializing and also by assisting even the farmers in this pilot project, for example, in Ogan Ilir and also in Lampung and also in Tarahan. That whenever they feel confused what to do with the rice huskers that's no longer have the marketability status quo, they can always try to sell it to the biomass power plant that is already existing status quo because if they are in Lampung, it's easier. It's easy also to sell the rice huskers to Ogan Ilir, for example, due to this distance, or they can also they can also try to sell the rice waste to the Tarahan Lampung. I think the my role as a bachelor of law is also to provide justice regarding this. In the interpretation of justice in this case is that they are farmer is the root chain production of rice, but they are not secure in this case. So I think in order for us to provide justice for them is by assisting them to gain the justice that they deserve as a root production chain of rice itself. Secondly,
and mitigate them, advocate them, far away from home.
I think it can goes both way due to the advancement of technology that now the distance between Jakarta and Sumatera is not really far. But to be realistic, I think firstly it's important for me to try to contribute in the largest in the smaller scope first, doing something that I can do visibly, which is to go back home. Because as someone who born in that place, I have also responsibility to contribute back to my hometown. But maybe this will relate to the Ministry of Agriculture. My role play as the Ministry of Agriculture. In the larger scope, of course, as the Ministry of Agriculture, even in the status quo right now, the Ministry of Agriculture has already many programs or intentions. For example, like they have a programs like Pemberdayaan Petani, they have programs like bantuan pemerintah in agriculture sectors and so on and so forth. But so we think that in the case of Minister of Agriculture, we already have the intentions or the incentives to realize this kind of like program that accelerate the production of rice, accelerate the production of rice. So in order related to this program, as Ministry of Agriculture, we have the capability to to socialize or to realize this program by directly assisting or counseling the farmers, for example, in the province or daerah-daerah, that they have the business opportunity to utilize rice health waste according to the proposal of this program. Related to the Directorate of PLN, even in status quo right now, as I've said, as I have said before, that we are currently, as a government, have the commitment to achieve sustainable development goals in 2030. One of it is through the accelerations of the renewable energy through the presidential regulations. So, the presidential regulations trickles down to several um, regulations, including the obligations for power industry, including to transition to a more renewable energy. So I think that as a directorate of PLN, we have to also realize this program to comply to the regulations existing right now, and also to reduce the net carbon emission, because the practice right now is that in order for steam power plant uh, business going on, they have to buy carbon credit. So in order for them to not buy carbon credit, or at least decrease the buying of the carbon credit, is by reducing the net carbon emission. And one of the ways to reduce the net carbon emission is by using this program. So I think that by all of the three roles that I have explained before, the factual actions can be made through several perspectives and approaches.
My suggestion to you after this MAPRES selection, first thing that you need to do is you need to write the policy paper. Yes, send to the governor of your province and to the mayor of Lampung. That's a obligation from us. Yeah? Okay, that's
Thank you, Bu.
Okay, terima kasih Bu Natalina. Maybe we're head on to the next judges. Is there anyone that wants to comment? Ya, boleh. Silakan.
Okay. Hi, Maita. Okay. My first question will be: do you think is there any legal implication in the context of waste to energy mechanism?
As far as I've done my research, legal implications are not, there is no legal implication or significant legal implications, because the regulations to regulate the program, for example, the transition from steam to biomass power plant is already there in the Permen SDM, for example, and also the commitment is already there in the Peraturan Presiden. But when there is, if I have to think about the legal implications, maybe the implications of smoke, because the smoke produced from the steam power plant and also the rice house power plant, biomass power plant will be different. So there needs to be the clarity how to regulate the smoke, and for example, or the disclosure what kind of smoke that will be produced by the biomass power plant with the utilization of the rice house waste.
Okay. And my second question will be: do you think will there any weakness of the program or the solution that you are offering based on your proposal? And if the answer to this question is affirmative, then do you have any solutions or plan B to tackle the weakness of the program?
The weakness of this program would be the supply of the electricity itself, because it's affirmative that it's going to be different from steam power plant to biomass power plant. So that is exactly why we cannot directly transition all of the steam power plant into biomass power plant or rice waste power plant. But I think the solution in itself is that when we look at the Delta Bemogan earlier, they have already successfully provide electricity for the villages near the Delta BM. So I think it's regarding the supply of electricity, it's still possible. But other solutions where or not we want to like transition all of the Delta way to Delta BM, I don't think we have to do that, like 100% Palta BM, because I believe that each of the provinces in Indonesia have different, diverse resources. So for provinces that might have large production of rice and large supplies of rice hulls, they can transition to biomass power plant. But in other provinces that don't have that high degree of productions in rice waste or rice in itself can just use another renewable energy, like for example, solar power or water power plant or so on and so forth. So I think it's gonna be like very specific mechanisms adapted to the conditions of the provinces that we want to apply this program at the end of the day.
Okay. Then my third question will be, what is the main concern of your program? Like, who's it is for? Is it for the interests of the farmers, or our people, or agricultural mechanism in general?
I would like to say that I'm being a little bit greedy in this proposal because I want to cater all of the actors that I mentioned in the paper, such as the farmers and
Yeah.
also the power plant and also the people at the end of the day. Why is that so? Because when we're talking about agriculture sector, it's a pity that agriculture sector has been an object of experimental programs. So many programs have already existed in the status quo, but efficacy of the programs that already exist in the status quo is questionable. So the trend of thoughts in this proposal is that we know that many programs are exist in the status quo, but they're not efficient and effective. So this program is the what is it called, the how to fulfill the gap of information or the gap of efficacy that's between the programs that already exist in the status quo. Maybe that's my answer for that question. But
Okay, so if now I give you another chance to make it shorter in regards to who is the main um, concern or the main goal of your program, who is that?
farmers,
The farmers. Okay, so the farmers, are you sure with that?
yes,
Yes. Okay, so can we lock the answer right now?
yes,
Yes. Okay, then this will be my last question, and this will be closely related to your previous answer. Okay. Um, Based on your previous answer, then I do think that all of us are agree that agriculture is one of the main strengths of Indonesia. Then, why did you cite the former as president in your closing statement instead of our constitutional regulations, such as Article 33 of our UUD 1945, which states that bumi dan air kekayaan alam yang terkandung dalamnya dikuasai oleh negara digunakan untuk sebesar-besarnya kemakmuran rakyat.
maybe this will be a little bit of answer you answer to this specific question. So I have a really little time to make this proposal and also the presentation. When I want to put the quotes to my closing statement, I just type in on the Google quotes regarding agriculture. I tried to search the quotes from Ministry of Agriculture, but apparently I didn't find a suitable enough quotes for the presentation. So yeah, this is my mistake. I should have quoted decision law, but instead I quoted former US president just to make it cool. Yeah, maybe that's the serious answer I could give to Madina right now.
Yeah, I think that was my closing
Yes.
for the feedback presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Dinda. Maybe the next judges? Yeah. Okay. So it's going to be me next then. Okay. Maita, I would like to maybe a bit of appreciation. This is actually a very good idea in the sense it's measurable. It can be done directly. I mean, the waste is already there. And as you said, based from the data, one of the major producers of rice in Indonesia is Lampung. So it can be done. Maybe if you have money, you can do it now in a sense. However, when we talk about the next stage, so we're going to convert the husk, the rice husk, into electricity in a sense, becoming a power plant. In this sense, when it's going to be like a pilot project, it's going to be very inspirational in a sense, because okay, we are shifting a waste into energy. That's something that Singapore is really proud of. They kind of think that okay, nothing is wasted in Singapore. That's the slogan in Singapore. In a sense, when we talk about the next step, it's not a pilot project, but a sustainable business. Because this is based on waste, then at the very beginning, this kind of commodities is not something that is being produced or neither being become concern of the daerah of the region itself, right? So in the sense, when you created a business, it needs to be sustainable, including the supply chain, the supply chain. In this sense, how do you, uh, in a sense, what is it called? How do you make sure that the supply of rice husk is consistent each year round, so the power plant is running. The problem is when you create a power plant from the rice husk and the rice husk is not adequately supplied, then it's going to be a rusted iron. Okay, so how do you kind of have a mitigation first in that sense?
Regarding that, maybe what I would like to explain is that rice husk waste is a waste that is contingent with the production of rice. So it's according to my background proposal, we are a country that is really depending on the production of rice. So it's safe to say that the production of rice will always be sustainable in Indonesia because that's our main consumption. So in that according to that rice as waste as the output of rice production would always be like contagious also. But regarding the use of rice as waste for biomass power plant, according to my research, biomass power plant needs Pelta BM Organilir needs 100 ton of rice husk waste each day to be able to run in the status quo. According to that, I do feel like in comparison to the potential of rice husk waste, for example, we as I've stated in my paper, we have around 4 millions of rice husk waste, uh, 4 million tons of rice husk waste each year. So we think that it's still going to be enough for us to sustain the running of the PLTBM in itself. But as I've mentioned also before, the rice husk waste can also be a mixture of the biomass power plant. So it's the rice husk waste. If there is a potentiality of um, decreasing supply of rice husk waste, when we talking about PLTBM, we can always mix the fuel with other biomass energy such as the another agriculture waste, for example, like consumption waste and so on and so forth. Yeah, maybe that's my answer to Bang Angga question.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask another question. This is actually a question in the pill press about greenflation, the rise of prices because of using green energy and such. So at the very beginning, we have a surplus of waste. So this is a good thing. However, when we do have a sustainable power plant from waste, in a sense, um, uh, do you think it's going to cause a greenflation because maybe we have a sum total of maybe rice husk and other things that can be incinerated, right? Bakar ya. Uh, but it's scattered in all over Indonesia, and Indonesia is an island. It's it, it's very hard word, archipelagic state in a sense, archipelagic state based on the UNCLOS. Yeah, in this sense, there's lots of um, uh, monies that needs to be invested in transferring things into the waste power plant. In this sense, do you have any vision in that era where maybe we are um, uh, not really surplus of waste, but we are a deficit of waste. So how do you going to tackle about that? Do you have any maybe visions on that situation? Maybe I would like
Mm,
to hear that.
okay. Thank you, Bangga, for the very interesting question. Maybe a disclaimer. I'm not really keen in this kind of topic, especially greenflation. So pardon me if my answer would not be sufficient enough. But regarding the greenflation, I do believe that greenflation is just what is it called? Just a controversy created to not accelerate the use of renewable energy. That's my thought in this green fashion thing. But regarding in the scattered waste all over Indonesia, um, I do believe that we have a bonus demography, means that we have a lot of people doing consumption, means that we have a lot of people produce waste at the end of the day, because waste is an inevitable output of the consumption itself. So regarding whether or not we're gonna be have a decrease in the supply of waste, I don't think so. But in the in the instance that the the what is it called, the decrease of waste happen, I think that when we look into news, for example, we have many instances where other countries illegally exported their waste to Indonesia. So that can be also one of the reasons why waste will always be in Indonesia. In regards to other things, for example, like how to transfer how to like uh, tackle the issue when it's really happening. um, as I've said before, PLTBM doesn't have the obligation to rely in rice as waste or waste in its rice as waste. So we have any other source of waste. In instance that the PLTBM or PLT sampah is not feasible at all, we also have another things like PLTA or PLTS or any other or any other renewable pembangkit listrik. So my answer shortly would be it's gonna be adapted according to the needs of the provinces itself. If they are in running out of waste, of course they're not gonna run out of the PLTBM or PLTU and so on and so forth. So I think that possible solutions still exist in status quo.
Okay. Maybe a bit of recommendation. Yeah, Maita. This is a good idea. It can be done. It's specific enough to be conducted, realistic enough. However, I think in this sense, as you are a student, you need to like look at the various perspective. In this sense, I haven't seen the possible risk of environment risk due to the power plant itself. So I believe it's better for you to maybe explore about those things. So if there are people that ask about that thing, you can answer it with a basis theories. So maybe the last judge, Alif, silakan.
Tes. Ya. Thank you for the opportunity, Bang Angga. Ya, good morning, Mita. Ya, uh, it's interesting you put Ogan Ilir and Tarakan in your plan of this program. But in your presentation, you say that there's a pilot actor that which is that Ministry of Agriculture and PLN. Yeah. So I do some quick research and I find that the most province that with most produced rice in Indonesia is Java. And in your RAB, yeah, you put the the first income is from APBN. Yes. Okay. So how you will fix this condition when the ministry say, I will join your program, but we move not in Ogan Ilir, but in East Java, or you stay with your plan in Ogan Ilir, but government will leave your program. What will you choose?
Okay. Thank you, Olive, for the question regarding that. Yes, it's true that Oganer and Lampung is not the highest province of production, but I do believe when I did my research, the PLTBM only exists in Ogan Ilir. So my hypothesis in that is regarding that issue is that for some reasons, maybe there is inaccessibility in like utilizing PLTBM in Java, maybe due to the political situations, maybe due to the social demographics issues and so on and so forth. So I do believe that it's just right for me to try to establish the pilot project in a place that is close, which are the Pelta Bemoga Hilir and Pelta Tarakan Lampung. That's my first answer. But in the case, in the instance that the if the what is it called, the central government wants to move the pilot program to the Java, of course it's gonna be even easier to this pilot program because Oganilir and Oganilir and Lampung only the fifth and sixth provinces that produce rice and rice huskways. So logically when it is moved to Java, they rank 1 to 4th. So the supply of waste, the problem that Bang Angga talked about before, we're not gonna be a problem anymore. At least in the long time because of the high of productions of rice and rice has waste in itself. But if I am forced to like realize the program without the help of central government, it's already stated in my paper with in the analysis of how to achieve this program. I already explained that from farmers, they have the internal incentives and they also have done the practice of trading rice as waste. So they have the incentives to try to find business opportunity in this case. And for example, from the private sectors in the power plant industry, as I've said before, they have the force to transition for a more environmental friendly industry. So they have this internal incentives to find a solution or an alternative to reduce carbon emission, so that they don't have to buy massive amount of carbon credit in status quo. So in this case, when we socialize this program as a student, for example, or counsel this program as a student, for example, to the power plant and to the farmer, I can say that there is a big potential. There is a big like possibility for this program to realize when assessing the needs of those two actors in status quo without the help of the central government. Maybe that's my answer.
Thank you, Maita. So I think we can conclude that you will stay in Ogan Ilir.
Um,
Trying hard to make the government keep join your plan in Ogan Ilir.
no, my answer before is that the approach first is the approach when I need to move to Java. Yes, I can say that it's just possible, just like what I proposed in the paper. But in the case that I have to stay in Ogan Ilir, it's still also possible. That's my conclusion.
Okay, sip. Thank you, Maita. Back to Bang Angga.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from judges? Comment, maybe? Last comment? Last questions? No? Okay. Please give applause to Meta, our MAPRES panelists. Yeah. Okay. So today, this is my duty right now to substitute Bang Alif. Yeah. Different person with the same size. Okay. So, judges and finalists, according to the schedule, it should be a lunch break. Yeah. However, we still have one candidate, if I'm not mistaken, right? So we continue to the next presentation, or should we have lunch break? Judges, continue. Okay. So we will continue to the next presentation. We have Ibrahim. Could you check your sound system? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Wrong.
Check your microphone. Okay. Any pointer? Okay. So the rule of the game is still the same. Ibrahim, you have 15 minutes to present your presentation, and after that, we will have question and answer session from the judges. Okay? Are you ready?
It's ready.
Okay. Presentation is yours.
Can you imagine Yogyakarta, known as the student city, tourism city, turning into collective committed by underage student? Yes, you heard it right. In other hand, Yogyakarta also have many problems with young farmers regeneration, causing many young people in Yogyakarta not want to become young farmers. Sadly, realities. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Rahayu. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to me to have the opportunity to speak before you today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ibrahim Givar Hamadi, as finalist most outstanding student at Faculty of Law, University of Indonesia 2024. Today, I will present my creative idea with entitled "Effort to Improve the Quality of Life for Klitik Perpetrators in Yogyakarta through the Klitik Tani program aimed at increasing the number of young farmers in line with Sustainable Development Goals." Ladies and gentlemen, Klitik is juvenile delinquency. Klitik engages in anarchic acts including beating, stabbing, and even murder. Based on data, there are 58 case Klitik in 2021 and 52 case Klitik in 2020. Why did that happen? Klitik still exists in Yogyakarta cause one, ineffectiveness of punishment law, and two, lack of parental guidance, and three, social environment factor. In other hand, ladies and gentlemen, Yogyakarta also have many problems with young farmers, causing many young people in Yogyakarta not want to become farmers. Based on data, young farmers in Indonesia just more than 6 billion or 21.93%. These numbers are still small. This is due to several factors. One, the potential of Yogyakarta as an agrarian region. Two, the lack of interest among young people to become farmers. And three, the need for young farmers regeneration in Yogyakarta. Based on that, the problem is who will continue. Then, what is the relationship between these two problems? One, Klitik are teenagers aged 14 until 17 years who are experiencing identity crisis based on psychological theory erection, and two, the policy of the Yogyakarta special regional government still focused solely on socialization and mentoring program. And three, repressive punishment will cause trauma to Klitik. To address this two main issue, I propose a creative solution in the form of empowering Klitik to become young farmer with any program, one agricultural workshop to plant variety development. This program also aims to achieve SDGs point 16, peace, justice, and strong institution, and 17, partnership for the goals. This is a multi-layer solution with Sahabat method for the Klitik Tani program in Yogyakarta. Sasaran, specific. This program upgrading modern farm skill to employed Klitik. Measurable, coordination among any stakeholders to achieve three indicators. First, targeted, two, implementable, and three, effectivity. And then acceptable. This program acceptable because the issue of farmer and Klitik in Yogyakarta are very fundamentalist and significant. And then realistic. This program mentoring with a mentor and a police to be a supervisor. And time bound, this program will be implemented gradually and requires periodic evaluation. And hambatan. The first is interesting among Klitik participation. Not all of them want to become farmers. And two is the lack of seriously Klitik in implementing the young farmer program. And then bantuan. First is funding from Dana Keistimewaan Yogyakarta government. And two is collaboration with any stakeholders in Indonesia. And tindakan. First is training farming skills for Klitik so that they can be empowered, those expected to become the future generation of Indonesian young farmer. And two is reduction psychological trauma. And three is improving the ability of Kliti to compete in the job market, especially in the agricultural sector. And this is implementation scam with any stakeholder. With the first is Yogyakarta local agreement, make a partnership with West Java local agreement, because the West Java local agreement is pioneer of petani milenial program that have a successful program in Indonesia in the agricultural sector. And local government in Yogyakarta make a partnership with agricultural ministry in Republic of Indonesia. And then local government in Yogyakarta make a partnership with the Polda DIY to be a preparing capsule creative participant and to be a supervisor and observer to this program. Ladies and gentlemen, before I finish my presentation, let me summarize the main point. First is the prevalence of Kliti in Yogyakarta is caused by the ineffectiveness of punishment or law. Second, the law interest among young generation in Indonesia to become farmer result in challenges for the regeneration of farmer in Indonesia, especially Yogyakarta. And third, empowering Kliti to become young farmer is a collaborative program between any stakeholder to enabling addressing the issue of low interest among young people in Indonesia to become farmer. And I like to close this presentation with my favorite quote from Engineer Soekarno: "The life or death of a country lies it in its agricultural sector." Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ibrahim, actually you still have 8 minutes left. Okay. Any other maybe
No, Bang. Thank you.
closing statement?
Enough.
No? Enough? Okay. Then let's move on to the question and answer session from judges. Judges, who wants to ask first? Okay. Bu Natalina, please.
Smiling in pain. No. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello, Bu Natalina.
How are you?
I'm great. Actually, I am nervous, but as law student in FHUI, we need to be brave in any situation.
Wow, lovely. Excellent. So, Ibrahim,
Yes.
where are you from?
I'm from senior high school. I'm living in Banyumas, Jawa Tengah. Currently, I'm living in Yogyakarta.
So, you are now living in Jakarta.
Yes.
Yes. But your hometown is from Puerto Rico, right?
Yes, indeed. Puerto Rico.
And while living in Yogyakarta, have you joined the juvenile activity, delinquent activity in Jogja?
In Jogja, I don't joining.
I'm very sorry that the question and answer are a bit personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay. In Yogyakarta, I don't have joined any government program, but in Purwokerto, Jawa Tengah, I
Not the government program, but did you ever join a delinquent group?
the delinquent group. I don't join
Why?
because I grew up in Purwokerto, but I living in Yogyakarta have 2 years.
Yeah, around 2 years. So you don't have a lot of friends there.
Yes.
Yeah. So have you ever think to join such amburadul teenagers?
No.
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 Why?
Amburadul teenagers. What is this amburadul teenager?
Amburadul teenagers is a group of people that do bad things, say bad words, for example. Why don't you join them?
Yeah, because
as a recreationist and teenager?
no, because amburadul teenager is I don't know what exactly the gang. I don't know something about the amburadul teenagers, so I don't decided to join the gang.
Because you are a good boy
Yes.
from the beginning, from day one. Yeah. Ibrahim, I have a brother. He works as a general surgeon in Yogyakarta, and once in a while, he got a patient as a victim and also perpetrator of the crime. So doctor work in Rumah Sakit Sarjito in Yogyakarta don't think that this alternative sanction will be the best solution for them to change their behavior from the perspective of the doctor who graduated from the Faculty of Medicine. Yeah. How do you think that this alternative solution, this alternative sanction could be the best solution for the delinquent, for the juvenile person?
Yes. Thank you, Bu Natalina, for the question. I will answer it. Uh, the program that the main program will be aims or have a benefit, three benefit. The first is the collective are young individuals who need to be empowered or employed program, considering this act is the state of youth based on the psychological theory. And number two is collective perpetrators can be empowered to become prospective millennial farmers, so that the regeneration of young farmer in Yogyakarta can increase. And number three is creative preparation are students who can contribute to Indonesia demographic bonus in 2030 and can be empowered to achieve the SDGs, especially goals number 16 and 17.
Now, have you doing research as well on diversion, how to divert the person who committed a crime, even though she or he is still underage, still minor, and also the restorative justice system that has been applied in Indonesia. So there are certain criteria for person who involved with a certain type of crimes that could proceed through the diversion or restorative justice system. Do you think that the stakeholders who work on juvenile justice system will uh, let them get the alternative sanction to change their bad activity or bad behavior?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Can I sit in because I'm feel sick because
Unwell?
I'm anemia.
Oh, you got
Yes.
anemia, so you need water, or
Oh,
stay there, and the committee will give. Just sit there, maybe. I have a similar experience years ago when I started to ask my question, and then one of the finalists got sick. So this is I think, the third time. I don't know. Is that because of the question of or
I'm
the
sure.
situation?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe you need to
I
drink
can.
or eat a little bit.
I can.
Yeah.
Give me a few time.
Have you get your breakfast before?
Yes, I have done breakfast.
But I have a question for you, Rahim, regarding to your health condition, whether you want to answer or not, or you just come
Uh,
at my.
I will continue answer. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
We can move to another jury, maybe. Yeah, or maybe you get your lunch, and after that we can continue.
Oh no. Continue.
Yeah, just all the time. It's okay. It's okay with you guys, yeah?
No. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. Oh, thank you. Udah ada. Udah ada. Sure, Bang. Aman, Bang. Udah dah. Ayo, Bang. Bisa lanjut lagi kok, Bang. Coba kalau sambil duduk aja nggak apa-apa.
You can choose, yeah.
Yes.
Ibrahim, you can choose which question you need to answer.
Yes.
It's
Thank you,
okay. Just be relaxed.
Okay, I'm good. Can you repeat the question, ma'am? Yes.
I will make it a bit short.
Yes.
My question is, do you think that this alternative sanction will be acceptable for the stakeholders to apply in factual cases? Since there will be harm and high blameworthiness put to the perpetrator because of their activity in Klitih gang. Thank you, Ibrahim.
All right. Thank you for the question, Bu Natalina. This program will be acceptable for any stakeholder of any government will be partnership because the main issue of the farmer activity in Jakarta are very significant issue. So that need really solution and effectivity solution. And then based on the local government policy on the last year is implemented policy to address quality, but the policy was limited to socialization and counseling and the resulting in ineffective outcomes. So that the action takes were only capable of mitigating the impact of the quality. Based on this, an empowerment program is needed so that not only repressive punishment or law, but is given to Klitih for upgrading skills, especially the farming or agriculture sector, to equip them with expertise for the in the future.
We'll continue.
Do you? Okay.
Okay, Ibrahim.
Yes, Bang Angga.
Who do you are being called? Your nickname?
Ibrahim or Gifar?
Gifar. Oh, not Baib.
Not.
Oh, baik. Okay, Gifar, gini. Here's the thing. I would like to give an appreciation. You you are you are capable of noticing what is it called? Unnoticed force. I mean, the will, the energy of the young people that is not being adequately disalurkan, adequately channeled in a sense. You've already be able to notice that, and you are trying to channel this into a better situation. Okay, but here's the thing. Gifar, I would like this. My question and answer with you will be a very dynamic one. Yeah? So you just answer it directly. Gifar, what do you think? Why people doing PT? What is the imagination of these people doing PT? The motivation. What is it?
All right, Bang Angga. In my summary creative paper in your laptop is they've written that they are motivated creative to be an anarchist act is the only involved displaying bravely among fellow members, not as similar begal or a stolen motorcycle.
Okay, so basically they're trying to be cool, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, they're
Indeed.
trying. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
They're trying to be cool. In a sense, let's just say you given the opportunity, another option to becoming a farmer. How do these people becoming cool in doing that? How do you market this option into something cool? Because the motivation of doing clit is trying to be cool. So in a sense, how do you argue that to these people that becoming a farmer is a cool thing? So it's the same like you are trying to baca orang, to slash a people, or maybe to rob a mini market in a sense. So how do you think the bravery, the coolness of this becoming a farmer is equal to doing activities?
Yes, thank you for the question, Bang. The benefit of my program is the novelty because the empowerment about young farmers, especially the agricultural sector, is the goal because its program focus on empowering the creative producers by providing them with modern agricultural skills so that they can improve their quality in life.
Okay, this is the thing. These people, the one that doing clitic, is a young people. They don't think about anything. They don't think about having a well life. They're just trying to be cool. So this kind of consideration is not inside the head of these people doing clitic. So my question, I will restate my question again. So how do you market? Yeah, how do you persuade these people doing clitic, looking cool on their motorcycle? Ini bahasa Jawanya petantang petenteng ya, petantang petenteng, trying to be cool gitu. Aduh, kok jadi bahasa. I'm sorry about I'm very sorry for my English switching ya to Japanese accent. Okay, doing petantang petenteng, trying to be cool. In this sense, yeah, they're bragging things, right? In this sense, how this situation, the option that you are given of becoming a farmer, is this have the same coolness, the same bravery, the same bragging as riding a motorcycle within the city. So, can you give maybe let's just say, like again, we are doing role play. I am a clitty participant. I'm a delinquent member. I am a member of clitty. How do you persuade me to go into your program rather than I'm going in town with my motorcycle?
I will clarification in my aims. I don't persuade the critic in general to join my program. The aim is the critic before have captured by Polda DIY. So the critic in Polda DIY, I persuade the Polda DIY to let critic to join my program. So I don't persuade critic in general to join my program by direct.
Okay, this is the thing, yeah, Gifar, yeah. When we talk about the jurisprudence, the legal science, there's theories that states when a legal norms it does not, what is it called, consistent with the social norms, it's going to be hard to be implemented. In this sense, when we, in this sense, your ideas is the construction of norms, the policy to what is it called, to rehabilitate the cliti delinquents. In this sense, what I've asked you is not the legal norm, which is the social norm. Why the clitic delinquent do their act is because they have the social norm to be brave, to be cool. In this sense, if you want to like one-handedly uh, force them to become farmers, maybe during the juvenile rehabilitation they will do that. But after that, maybe they just leave it and becoming back into clitic action again, become a gang member again. In this sense, maybe you need to open your eyes and explore a bit in case of the perspective of the doers. Because in this sense, we want this program to be impactful and sustainable, right? In the sense, you need to also understand the psychology of the people that doing critique. In this sense, I admire your ideas to allocate this very big force in young people. However, you also need to be able to market your program to be able to relate to these people. Because if it's not relate to them, they won't do it. Because why not? I want to be cool. Why do I have to be a farmer? In this sense, maybe in a sense, my recommendation is you need a campaign strategy. You need a gamification. You need uh, a strategy to create this your program to becoming a farmer is something cool. In a sense, we can say a bit of example is like the online Uber or the ride hailing. Okay, the Grab and Gojek with their green jacket. There's a bit of differences. There's a bit of coolness in a sense. So they are proud to be one, and it's penghasilan yang halal and such. So maybe you need to think about those kind of gamification marketing to make the farming sector to be more sexy in a sense for this clicking. That's I think my recommendation. I think that's all from me. Maybe the next judge, Budinda atau Bang Alif? Ah,
Okay, Bang, thanks for the recommendation.
Okay, good afternoon, Ibrahim.
Yes, Madinda,
How are you feeling right now?
better.
Better? Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, then my first question will be about do you think is there any or is there someone who is more responsible for minor perpetrators who does not reach adulthood according to the law?
Yes. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, because in your proposal, mainly you discuss about the minors perpetrators, right? People or children who are or young people who is technically does not reach the adulthood according to the law, right? Then do you think is there any important role, for instance, their parents or any other stakeholders who are also responsible for minors in this regard?
Yes, the parenting guidance from the parent is the most important thing to be clearly action, and then the social environment to be second most important that have clearly act analysis.
Okay, so how far do you think the importance or yeah the important roles of parents or other um, parties or stakeholders in this regards to make sure that okay we are they shall they allowing like the minors do that or perform that kind of act in this regard?
Yes, because the any stakeholders is the most important the thing to successfully this program because uh, collaboration any stakeholders in Yogyakarta especially because the most important thing to successfully this program because the guidance of parental parent is not effectivity because the quality was still exists in Yogyakarta. So that the most important thing is any collaboration if any collaboration with any stakeholder to successfully this program. I
Okay,
think that's it.
yeah, thank you. And honestly, I also impressed with your decision in regards to write about the proposal about Kliti because you know it is one of the regional issue, especially in Jakarta, and which is also I can say that it is a bit different with another topic that have been chosen by the other fellows or the finalists. And I also appreciate your presentation and you're brave in order to present the topic. And my second question will be about um, did you have any difficulties in regards to doing some research or in writing this proposal, especially this regional topic in which perhaps internationally or globally not many people being genuinely aware or yeah simply aware about this topic?
Yes. I have done on my paper because I'm aware that not all pretty predators have an interest in agriculture. So an ideal approach is needed to provide farming skills training so that uh, the most challenging idea in my paper is not all cliti have an interest in agriculture. So it's an main problem in my paper research.
Okay. And my last question will be about, let's say that I am the government of Yogyakarta or stakeholders in this case. And how can you convince myself that your program, which is the Millennial Farmer Program, will be more adequately protect minors or children in doing such an act?
Yes, thanks for the question. Uh, the Creative Time program can be a successful program caused that based on two issues in Yogyakarta, especially one is safety and second is the challenge of young farmer regeneration. And these two problems can be addressed cross-sectorally by using an appropriate approach to provide farming skill to creative preparation, considering that creative perpetrators are underage children with low living condition and economy. If they are not provided with skill and government, they may engage in the same criminal activities or become groups of thugs and vagrant. And therefore, the solution of my program uh, or benefit or my program to consider that any stakeholder in Yogyakarta is crucial so that they can be there so that they creative perpetrator can be directed and have a skill in the field of agriculture.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. I think that's all from me. Bang Gozi.
Thank you, Madinda.
5 minutes left. Yeah. Alif, you want questions?
Thank you, Bang Lutfi, for the opportunity. Good presentation from Gifar. Yeah, thank you for your presentation. My first question is, why you think the farmers, yeah, become a farmer is the best way to pursue the cliti preparators in Yogyakarta? Why not the other thing or other job? Why farmers?
Yes, thanks for the question, Bang Alif. Uh, the Young Farmer Program uh, to semi-creative action is the most important thing because in Yogyakarta, Yogyakarta is a region well known by agrarian region. With, based on that, without regeneration from young individuals, especially the Kliti, there is a concern that agriculture land in Yogyakarta will not develop and leading to decreased agriculture sector and therefore addressing the issue of farmer is a crucial issue and the most important issue in Yogyakarta. So one of the solution is through the solution of creative problem to employ it to be a young farmer via a tani creative program.
Okay, thank you. In your answer, you say that Yogyakarta is well known as agricultural area. Yeah, but in my quick research, I find that Yogyakarta more popular as tourism city, tourism area. So I I think that will be better if the Klitih preparators become the bus drivers atau tour guide. Why your idea about becomes farmers is still better?
Because in Yogyakarta, not just well known as a tourism area, because in Gunung Kidul and Kulon Progo region is there is a lot of sawah and the agricultural sector in Yogyakarta, especially the Gunung Kidul and Kulon Progo, is potential. And if we can employ the Klitih to be contribute in agricultural sectoral, Yogyakarta can be a swasembada pangan region in Indonesia. So that I prefer to send Klitih to be a young farm in Yogyakarta, not for pariwisata, not for tourism sector.
Okay, thank you. So why I think the best way to create perpetrators in Jakarta is go to bus driver because they before riding a motorcycle and I think they will know about Jakarta map. Good thing. It's okay. But you say as farmers is still the best. Okay, you try so hard to defend this program. So and we have to know that change people is never the easy process. Okay, nah, how if this program running and the perpetrators become lazy in the middle of this program and that cause a crop failure, how you will prevent this, and if this happen, how you will take responsible of this?
Yes, uh, I'm aware of that main problems too, uh, and based on the aware of the uh, problem, I have anticipate a solution. Uh, I uh, I really aware that not all creative perpetrators have an interest and have and well known that uh, seriously act in young farmers sector or tani kritik program. So an ideal approach or a solution for me is needed to provide that mentor in agriculture ministry to training the kritik with the populist approach. And meanwhile, considering that creative perpetrators are minors who, according to Erikson psychological theory, are still searching. They are still searching the their identity. So this program can be effectively or can be uh, effective answer to answer the crisis identity uh, critic to more be they can uh, this program can be effective to be creative because the creative is children. The children is more adaptive than adult to learning new things and can be still graded. And I will full of responsibility in this program if this program fail. Thank you.
Yeah, back to Bang Gazi. Thank you, Baim.
Okay, judges, we still have 1 minute left. Any other questions, recommendations? Maybe? No? Okay, I think that's all from judges. Let's give applause to Ibrahim, our last finalist today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the end for today's session of the presentation from our finalists. Tomorrow, we will have others 5 students as a finalist. And don't forget, please come to SMT at 9 a.m. Okay? Okay, see you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.